All right, fellas, this is our anniversary episode, so I'm going to have to do the full intro as well as the outro when we close. What's up, world? It's the Fun Waste of Time podcast, where a couple of friends get together to discuss all things entertainment, movies, TV, video games, home theater, comic books, and anything else considered a fun way to waste your day. I'm your host, Tarrus, and along with me this episode, we've got Anthony and James. Now, we're not industry professionals. We're just fans of our hobbies who enjoy talking shop about our favorite pastimes. So if you enjoy entertainment media, pop culture, and home theater, we hope you enjoy listening into the conversation as much as we're going to have a great time having the discussion. Let's get it started. Welcome to episode 86 of the Fun Waste of Time. Now, on this episode of the show, we are going to be doing our top 3 favorites of 2025. That's movies, TV, video games, and comic books. No, just movies, TV, and video games. And we're going to do our most anticipated movies, TV, and video games as well. Now, just so that everybody out there listening knows, and so that the fellas know, today is our anniversary month. The inception of the show started over 11 years ago, back in 2015. So we've been doing the show for pretty much 11 years, but more consistently over the last 7, back in January of 2019. So happy anniversary, fellas. What is going on, James? How have you been?
Good. I mean, I'm really excited to be here for our anniversary. 86. That was the year I was born. Oddly enough, my birthday was recently. I just turned 40.
Whoa.
So we got a lot of synergy today, a lot of energy. OG crew from the start here.
Yeah. For those that don't know, the originators of the show, it was Anthony and I and a friend of ours back in the day named Brian. Brian moved on, and then we were able to bring in James, and James has been with us strong since his first episode, and it's just been fantastic having him on since that time. Anthony, how are you feeling, my man? 11 years we've been doing this show, 7 years a little more consistently. What's going on? How are you feeling?
Feeling good, man. You know, it's been crazy lately. I just found out my boy Hector, he's running 3 Honda Civics with spoon engines, T66 turbos, NOS, and a Motec system exhaust.
Ooh. Hector.
Come on, Taurus.
Hector. I'm lost, James. I have no idea who Hector is.
Fast and the Furious. He's played Hector in how many movies? 35? 36?
I think so. How do you
Something
not know
crazy
that?
like that.
How, that's Fast and the Furious, baby.
I'm lost, man. I'm lost. Hey, if it's not Triple X,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I have a hard time keeping up with him.
I'm pretty sure the last time we were all together, we saw the Fast and the Furious. So that was a very good tie-in.
Well,
Anthony,
2 of us
probably
did.
didn't even realize.
Two of us
Taurus
did.
was asleep. He was sunk asleep.
Wait a minute. I just have to reiterate the scene because it wasn't like a dialogue heavy scene. It was a scene where The Rock is literally using his hands to guide a missile to an explosion. And he sure enough was asleep through the whole thing.
Slump.
Well, the one thing that I remember about that day is I got sad news that day. Sad news that our good brother James was taking his family to Florida. He was leaving us, Anthony, and it's been dark days since, I tell you.
You know what? I won't say since COVID that we haven't talked about coming back. You never know. You never know where the world will take you. So
Ever since I found out James was leaving, I did away with that hard part I used to have.
Show us what you got now.
Oh,
Nah,
right
you
now,
can't.
it's crazy. It's crazy underneath this hood.
Well, you make it look good, man. You and Hatch, they go together like glue and paper, I tell you.
Is that an
Peas and
expression?
carrots. Peas and carrots.
There you
Thank
go.
you, James. Peas and carrots. I like that.
You're welcome.
I like that. Well, folks, like I said, this is our anniversary episode. Unfortunately, Jason couldn't be here today. He had some things with his home that he was getting worked out. And he just wanted to let everybody know that he's sad he couldn't be here. And he's wishing us a happy anniversary as well. He'll probably catch the episode a little later when he has time to, a little free time to do that. But
Wait, I'm doing it right.
What are you doing?
I'm doing the heart for
Oh,
Jason.
yeah. Okay, go ahead. Isn't this a little better?
I do it.
Isn't that a little better?
There you go. We'll do that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Okay. Yeah, we're missing
you,
you, Jay. All right. So one thing that I wanted to do before we get started, guys, is 2025 was kind of a crazy year. We lost somebody that I actually used to keep up with quite a bit. I was very sad to hear about his passing. And he was one of my favorite influencers back in, say, 2017, 2018. His name is Lamarr Wilson. Unfortunately, Lamarr, he took his own life. He was a tech reviewer, and he also reviewed a lot of video games back in the day as well. Now, over the last few years, I kind of have been focused on other things, so I really hadn't been keeping up with his content. But when I found out that he was no longer with us, it really broke my heart, man. I almost shed a tear hearing that he had passed away. But he had over 2 million subscribers, and he produced some really cool content. The one thing that I always enjoyed about him is he was just so genuine. Or he came across as very genuine on his channel. And he wasn't afraid to be who he was. He wasn't afraid to be silly. I like people who aren't afraid just to have a good time, be who they are, and, you know, just hang out and be silly sometimes. And he produced some really, really fantastic and fun content. And truthfully, a lot of the energy that I like to bring to the Fun Waste of Time, I can say he actually has inspired some of that within me and on the show also. So I just want to send an RIP, a rest in peace to Lamarr Wilson. Let him know that, you know, there are a lot of people who will miss him and who really did enjoy the positive energy that he put out into the world. But just wanted to make sure that I got the opportunity to state and recognize Lamarr Wilson, because he really was a really cool guy. Never met him personally, but always really loved the personality and the energy that he always brought to the content that he put out there. Well, all right, fellas. Well, like I said, we are going to be doing our top 3 favorite movies, TV shows, and video games of 2025, as well as our most anticipated of 2026. And the way we're actually going to be setting up that content is we're going to break it down in segments. We're going to do the video game segment. We'll do our top 3 favorites for 2025 for video games. And then we're going to do our most anticipated of 2026 for video games. And we'll do the same thing for TV, and then we'll do movies as well. Before we get started, fellas, you guys have anything that you want to share before we dig into the content here?
No, let's get it rocking.
Good to go? Anthony?
Good to go.
Let's get it.
Video games. The Fun Waste of Time podcast. Pick up the controller. Video games. Video games. Video games.
So, like I said, we are going to start with video games. We're going to do our top 3 favorites of 2025. We're going to start with our number 3, and then we're going to work our way up to our number 1. And we have a lot of content to get through, guys, so bear with us. I'm doing the production on the show today, so things might move just a little bit slow, but I want to make sure that you guys are able to get involved and engage in some of the things that we're discussing as well. So I'm going to be bringing up B-roll as we discuss our top favorites and our most anticipated. I want to start with James. James, do you have a number 3, top favorite video game of 2025?
Just 2 from me, Tarrus.
Just 2 today?
Just
okay.
2. Mm-hmm.
In that case, let's move it on to Anthony. Anthony, do you have a top 3 favorite video game?
I do. It's
Okay.
My number 3 would be College Football 25.
College
So,
Football 25.
Yes, sir. So this is my second year playing it. I thought there was a lot of improvements what I noticed from 24 to 25. The recruiting was much improved, in my opinion. I love the fact that you actually started from high school and you got to play some scenes from high school. You got to create your own high school. And then basically you progress your player from high school to college and then up to the NFL draft where you can export him to Madden 25 as well. And then he can get drafted. So I liked it. I liked the gameplay. I liked the recruiting aspect of it that was improved from this year. The personalization, the runouts, all that stuff was unique and authentic to me. I loved, again, the seamlessness of being able to take a character and create him at your local high school, transition him to college. You know, the good thing was the way the portal worked in the game this year. I really like that. So if you started off and you were with a team and for whatever reason you weren't successful in cracking that starting lineup, you could transfer and do a mini recruitment again in your second year. And overall, a lot of fun for me. That was my number 3.
That is fantastic. Okay.
One quick question. What position did you play?
Quarterback. Come on, man.
Oh, this guy. Aren't you like 5'8"?
QB1, baby. Not in the game, I wasn't. Not in the game, baby. 6'1" all
6'5".
day long. No, wait. I was 6'3". 6'3" all day long, baby.
210?
Yeah. I think I was 210, but I was a ripped 210, baby. There was
okay.
There was no fat on that guy.
What school did you end up finishing your career at?
I'm embarrassed to say. Being from Maryland, it's probably bad that I actually ended up at Clemson. But I wanted to do UNC. So the reason I knew about the portal was I started off at UNC. But because I didn't play it on easy mode, like sometimes I'm known to do, I had a hard time, man. I had a hard time replacing and cracking into the starting lineup. So I just switched to Clemson, baby. Go Tigers.
Nice.
All right.
Hey, you know why, though, right? You know why I picked Clemson? Color of the uniform.
It's fire.
True fan.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and go with my number 3. My number 3, excuse me. This is not my number 3. This is a honorable mention. So let me get my number 3. My number 3. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay. Was a game called Dispatch. Dispatch was a fantastic game, guys. It actually was made by some of the developers of many of the Telltale games. If you're back in the day, they made The Walking Dead. What was the game that you really enjoyed, Anthony? The Fables game?
Wolf Among Us.
The Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, there's a Batman one they did too, I think.
Yeah, they did that. They also did a Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2. Just a fantastic pedigree of developers over there who really know how to put together story-based and narrative-based games. And this, if this was a TV show or if this was a movie, this would be within my top 3. It was just that freaking good. Now, it was a little light on gameplay, but the gameplay actually fit what they were doing with the narrative of the story that they were putting together. And the characters were just really, really interesting and really engaging. They really kept you interested in some of the arcs that they had going on with whatever was happening within their lives. So really enjoyed playing this game. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm sitting in my theater and I'm actually watching the trailer. The reason I'm watching the trailer instead of showing you actual gameplay is because I wouldn't want to spoil anything for you. Because if I was to sit here and play the game to show you how the game actually plays, there's some story beats in there, and it would actually spoil some of those story beats. So just showing the trailer for you and what the experience was like playing it in the theater is what I wanted to show you here. Because this, if you've got a home theater, this is a theatrical experience. This game is just freaking phenomenal. Like I said, it's like playing a TV show. Pretty much. I would have had it higher, but there was a game that actually just came out of nowhere that I actually had to put a little higher on my list than this here. But if you've not played Dispatch and you like narrative-based, story-based, also with gameplay elements, they're a little lighter, then this is the game for you. I say the gameplay is a little lighter, but it is still intriguing and interesting. And the cool thing about it is the voice acting in this game is just freaking phenomenal. You've got Jeffrey Wright, who plays an awesome character in the game, had me cracking up just about every time that he came on screen, every time that he was actually in some of these story beats. Aaron Paul, who played Jesse on Breaking Bad, he plays the lead character in this. And what's really interesting and what's really cool about him as an actor is you really can't tell that it's Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. He sounds so freaking cool playing this lead character in this game. So if you've not had the opportunity to play Dispatch, then you definitely want to take some time to go play it. And it's not a super long game. You can get through it probably within 8 to 10 hours, depending on how good you are at dispatching some of the superheroes, because that is what the gameplay is all about. The name of the game is called Dispatch. So what you're doing is you're taking these superheroes' abilities and then matching them with the mission that is best based on what they're capable of doing, based on their abilities. So Dispatch is my number 3 top favorite game of 2025.
Hey, Tarrus, before you move on, I just wanted to add something. So you had highlighted this game the last time, I think, on the last show or the one prior to that. And I did pick it up because it's on sale. If you get it for the 21st. So the only reason it's not on my list is because I just started it. So I'll probably talk about it more next month. But I think that the difference between this game and some of those earlier Telltale games is exactly what you hit upon. And it's like literally like you're controlling the animation, like you're controlling a show. And even though don't let the amount of time that the game is kind of keep you from trying it, because the great thing about it is it's got a great replayability to it, because you can always go back and make other decisions. And it kind of, I'm not going to say it greatly alters, it sometimes depends, but it could kind of change the outcome of some of the things that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, Anthony. A very good point that you brought that up. Once I actually finished my initial run through, I had to go back and play a few scenes to try some different choices to see how the outcome of the game would come out. And there are quite a few different outcomes that you could have, conclusions to how the main character of the game interacts with certain other characters in the game. Yeah. And one thing you should know, those that actually play this is a very adult game. This is not a game for kids, because there's some sexual innuendo, and I'm not going to spoil anything for Anthony, because when he gets to it, he may be quite surprised. I know when I saw it, I was like,
now he's not going to finish it.
Really?
Well, what are you talking about? Now I'm going to hurry up.
It's going to motivate him to finish it.
Through.
It's going to motivate him to finish it, because there are some romantic choices that you can actually make in the game. And there's some fantastic female characters in the game. So I really do think that, Anthony, you are thoroughly going to enjoy this game. I'm sad you didn't get the opportunity to finish it prior to the episode, because it'd be really interesting to see how it placed within your top 3. But if it makes an impression, you never know. You might remember this time next year when we do this list again for top favorites of 2026. So we'll see how it all plays out. So that is my number 3 top favorite game of 2025. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to number 2. And from what I understand, James actually has a number 2. So James, let's go ahead and move it on to what you have as your number 2 top favorite game of 2025.
Yes, my number 2 is Death Stranding 2 on the beach. It's the sequel to Death Stranding. You get to play as Sam again. He's been living in isolation with Lou in Mexico. Basically, what happens from there is Fragile shows up. She wants him to do a new mission and reconnect Australia to the Chiral network. In Death Stranding 2, You take on old and new threats while you're trying to uncover the truth about should we have actually connected. The combat's much better. The deliveries are more challenging. The weather is more dynamic. And the game, I really enjoyed it. It was a great sequel. I played it right after. I think I finished the first one a week before the second one came out. So by playing it that way, because I was fully leveled up in the second game, it was a very smooth transition. Or in the first game, it was a very smooth transition to the second game. I do think that it made it a little bit easier for me than maybe people who had played it when the first one originally released. But I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't platinum it. I haven't went back to it. It's something that I want to do, but I just haven't got around to it. The other thing I did like about the game was it was just absolutely gorgeous. And I think that they did a really, really good job tying the first story and the second story together. I don't remember what the mode or game option was called, but basically if you hadn't played the first one, as you got to certain points in the game, what they did was explain to you what they were talking about. So there was a little sidebar that you could go to and it would explain to you, and basically had an encyclopedia of what terms meant and what they were talking about from the first game. So it was a really, really great experience. I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into it. And that's my number 2. What about you, Anthony?
My number 2 was F125. One thing I liked about this game, again, I had started playing it back when I had Game Pass, RIP Game Pass. And it got me so into it for F124 that I decided to go out and I actually bought F125. And one of the things that was different this year was they actually brought back the story mode, which I really enjoyed. It's one of those things where I'm kind of strange in the fact that sometimes if you tell me about something, I'm not really into it. It doesn't sound like something I might like, but if I try it, it might change my mind. And that's what the story mode did to me. I didn't realize what I was missing because I didn't play those earlier versions where part 1, part 2 of the storyline were in. But it was fine. They gave me a little recap, and I picked right up with the storyline. Loved it. I love creating my own team with all the options that it gave you. The only thing I would say if I had a negative about the game was that what they did this year, some of the liveries that you have are tied to your sponsor. So even if you buy it, you can't use it until you earn enough points to get that sponsor. So that's the only thing I didn't like about it. I wish you could just, from the start, just get the sponsor you want, put the decals and stuff that you want on there. But the level of the level that you can actually personalize the car, the colors, the layout and stuff is just amazing to me. Really had a good time with that. So we'll see what they have in store for next year, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next year. Tarrus?
Fantastic. So for me, my number 2 was a game that came out of nowhere for me, actually. I was really looking forward to playing it when they came out with the DLC for it. Probably about, I think it was in the 4th quarter of 2025. Might have been the 2nd, around like a little after the summer, like fall sometime. But what really intrigued me about this game is I've been falling more in love with these games as I've been getting more familiar with how to actually play them, because to play them, it takes some skill. It takes a little bit of skill to play. Actually, let me rephrase. It takes a lot of skill to play these Souls-like games. And I've just been getting more and more into them the more that I play, and the more I see of these games coming out, because there are quite a few of them that are released on a regular basis. This game is called Lies of P. And it's not a new game. It's been out for a few years. I just have not had the opportunity to really sit down and play it. But they came out with an expansion for it this past year called Overture. And I wanted to play Overture, but before I did that, I actually wanted to play the base game. And before I actually did try playing this game about a year ago, and it was just a little too challenging for me to maneuver through it. So I probably played a couple of hours, got stuck somewhere, and then I put it down. Well, when they came out with Overture, they actually came out with difficulty settings. So instead of just the base difficulty setting, they had 2 additional settings below that. So the base difficulty setting that everyone who's played the game prior, they played on the hardest setting. And then there are 2 settings under that. So now there's a normal, and then there's an easy setting. And then the original setting was considered the hard setting. But the picture that you're looking at here, one of the guys that's in the movie group that I'm in, he's a big gamer as well. But he's never really gamed in his home theater, He typically would game in other rooms in his home. So he's never really utilized his theater for gaming. And I wanted him to have the experience of what it's like to actually game in a theater that was designed with gaming in mind. So my theater is not only for watching movies and for TV shows, but I also designed it so that I could play video games and have a fantastic experience playing that as well. When he designed his theater was designed more for specifically watching movies and cinematic TV shows. So gaming really wasn't something that he did a lot in his space. But once he experienced mine, he had such a fantastic time. I was like, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't you and we can pass the rock on some of these more difficult Souls-like type single player games. So he and I are going to start playing more single player games together, and then just passing the controller from one to another. Once one of us dies, then that person can take over and try to get past wherever that person died. But Anthony, remember you called me, what'd you call me when I'm sitting in my theater? What's the nickname that you gave me?
I did not give you a
Michael Jordan Cologne?
What's that nickname that you get? I don't know if you were there that episode, James. Were you there?
I think someone
you don't remember what you called me, Anthony? Milk Dud.
Milk Dud?
Call you that.
Milk Dud. Hey, look.
I don't think I called you Milk Dud. Someone
called me
you
Milk Dud.
I actually think that might have been me.
See?
It was actually him. I vividly remember being called Milk Dud.
Sure?
And what's funny, though, is I kind of like the name.
Wait, I also called him the dad from Good Times. I don't think he liked that
John
one
Amos.
quite as much.
Call me John Amos. But I like Milk Dud. But you know what's better than one Milk Dud? 2 Milk Duds. Okay, this is my buddy, right? He's got a Milk Dud too. So it's 2 Milk Duds sitting in this seat, having a fantastic time playing video games. It's just an awesome experience.
I don't
and
know
if he
your
listens to
friend
this
watches-
episode, I hope he doesn't mind me calling him a Milk Dud too.
I want to
You should have got
clarify.
that approved first.
I want to clarify. If he does watch this show, I did not call him any names because I don't know him.
You didn't call him Milk Dud. You called me Milk Dud. But
Okay.
we've got a very similar look. We've got a very similar, chrome thing going on there, But this is us playing Liza P. So he's actually sitting here playing the game, and I'm actually recording it because I wanted folks to see what the gameplay is all about. And just an awesome, awesome game. And I'm really loving these Souls-like games adding difficulty settings to their games, because for years people have been complaining they actually love the world that these gaming companies are creating for these Souls-like games, but they're just too difficult for the majority of people to play. Having difficulty settings not only will increase the base of people that can actually play, but it can bring more profit to these companies as well. It was the same thing when I played the first Berserker Kazan earlier in 2025. Really, really loved that game. But there were no difficulty settings. There was only one setting, and it was challenging. I take that back. They had 2. They had a hard setting, and then they had a more easy setting that was still very difficult. But shortly after that, about say 3, 4, 5 months later, they added in an additional setting. So they had 3 difficulty settings for the first Berserker Kazan, and Liza P did the same thing, and it increased their player base as well, because more people are getting the opportunity to see how fantastic of a game this is. Just really, really amazing. But that is my number 2 top favorite video game of 2025. And look at this awesome milk dud. Second milk dud right here. I tell you.
I really, really enjoy, and I had a serious flashback when we were like, oh, we passed the controller. I just like flashed back to being a little kid on the weekend and being at my buddy's house and just staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and like, oh, you can't get past it. Give me the controller, and just going back and forth. That was really nostalgic for me.
Isn't it an awesome experience, James? And what's cool about it is typically when he comes over, he's come over probably about maybe 3 or 4 times already this way, but he's working out with me as well. So he only lives about 15 minutes away from me. And so he's my workout partner. We work out 3 times a week. So after working out some days, we'll just, go upstairs to the theater. I'll put some blankets on the seats, to make sure that we don't get those all sweaty, and, I can sit in them and be comfortable without worrying about sitting in somebody else's sweat. But we just sit up there, man. We have a fantastic time. I order food. We'll typically order some Martinez pizza. We'll, just order some burgers and some fries and just hang out and just play. The last time we played, I think we played from like 10 in the morning to like 11 o'clock at night, man. Just had an awesome time playing. It's a really cool experience, I will say that. So did everybody do their number 2 top favorite of 2025? Okay. Now let's go to our number 1. Our number 1 top favorite video game of 2025. Let's start with Anthony on this one. Anthony, what is your number 1 top favorite video game of 2025?
I'm pretty sure this is going to be a surprise to no one, and that's Ghost of Yotei.
Is it really?
That's the gold standard of games as far as I'm concerned. I talked about this game like probably for months in a row, and I slow leaked that game because I just don't want it to end. I just really like the fact that somehow they're able to keep those moves fresh, but yet familiar. They offered a whole lot of new weapons this time around. The scenery was just breathtaking. The costumes, the character designs, and they were actually able to give you a new story that was compelling to me. There were some surprises in there that I thought, I think a lot of times when you see a game like this, you're focused on gameplay and moves and difficulty and stuff like that, but you don't focus on just how good a storyline that they consistently deliver with the first and now the second one. So I wasn't sure. You're never sure when you're not returning to the same character if you're going to have that same connection when you play a second game and they change out the character. But it was a phenomenal game for me. I loved it. I talk about it constantly. The only negative I see with the game is really more a issue with me than it is with the game, and that's the only problem I have with the game from time to time is navigating the wind. I'm like, sometimes, I
You're
think I'm going in the right
challenged.
direction. Yeah, I'm like, I think I'm going in the right direction. The next thing I know, my horse is getting ready to go off a cliff. Whoops. Or got to drive around the mountain the long way because somehow I'm not really following the wind accurately. So that'd be the only negative thing I'd say. But again, I think that's more my issue than it is the game's issue. So James, what about you?
Well, before you move on, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because you and James actually played the multiplayer co-op mode that Ghost of Tsushima had when it came out back in 2020, I believe. You know that Ghost of Yotei is getting the same co-op multiplayer mode as well, or something similar coming out. Are you looking forward to that? I don't know if you had it on your top 3 most anticipated, but that is something that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. Are you and James planning on getting together and partnering up on that too?
That's up to big man James. I mean, he's super.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it yet, so I'll probably buy it then.
Oh, you didn't play it yet? Oh.
Hey, James, I don't know if you guys know this. James is a big cabinet tycoon now. So, I got to get in the ground level with my guy now. He's not as available as he might have used to be.
That's true. That's very true. James is a busy dude.
No, I tell you what, James, we joke around and stuff, and James and I, one of the things about James, probably because he's a superior player, so he just kind of knows we're not competitive at all. Like when we get in there, we always get in there and we play co-op. We kind of like the good thing, why we play well together in that game is because we like totally different type of characters. So we kind of bring something different when we do the co-op. And like I said, it's always a good time. We're just focused on taking out the enemy, and we're not really rivals or competitive. I will say that there is some people on this podcast that, due to reasons I won't go into, like using you as bait or shields or raiding caches when you're busy keeping the enemy at bay. That's not James. I won't say who it is,
James
but
Anthony,
I will tell you it's not James.
It's what's in your cup. Did you hear that? I got to play that one more time. Let me play that one more time and don't talk, okay?
James Anthony, haterade.
It's what's in your cup. Pour that cup up, Anthony. Pour that
Delicious.
cup up. Come on now. All that haterade. All right, well, let's go to James. James, what is your number one top favorite of 2025?
Real quick before I get to my number one, I just want to let you both know that this is the Division's 10th anniversary, and they are planning to do something special for that. So we got to keep an eye out for that. As you can see on the screen right here, my number one is Arc Raiders. Funny story about this game. It just kind of showed up in my algorithm. Started watching some Twitch people playing it, and I was like, you know what? It's $40. Why not? And WoW has it dominated pretty much the last month and a half of my life, maybe 2 months. It's a multiplayer extraction shooter in a post-apocalyptic Earth where humanity lives underground after super intelligent machines called Arc take over the surface. So this is a player versus everyone or everything. When you drop into the map, or actually go up since you're underground to the surface, your raider here, you loot in the game, and there's also the Arc that you have to fight, as well as other raiders if you so choose to. Sometimes you don't have a choice because they can shoot you too. So it's a really cool dynamic. You get to the surface, you're looking for certain things to craft items, whether it be weapons, bandages, anything kind of for basic survival. And then the crafting tiers up from there for better weapons, better grenades, better things to take on the Arc. You can play solo, duo, or trio. I think that it's a very fun experience no matter which way you choose to play. From my experience playing solo, I usually am not kind of in a shoot first mode. Like I'm there just to get my stuff. When I play multiplayer with my friends, most of the time when you drop into multiplayer, it's hyper aggressive. And there's a lot of killing and a lot of shooting. What I like most about extraction shooters is if you die on the map, you lose everything. So that fear is always there. That one wrong move, whether it be with the Arc, which are very, very intelligent, or encountering a person that may just be having a bad day. You just don't know what your experience is going to be like match to match. And I really, really enjoyed it. Doesn't really have a campaign. There is a little bit of a story to it that gives you kind of a background on Speranza. There's 5 different locations. They have night events. We just had a winter event where everything was covered in snow. And if you weren't inside, you'd freeze to death if you stayed out in the cold too long. So that was a really cool element. They do like electric storms where you can get struck by lightning. There's a lot of different environmental stuff too as well. I kind of glossed over the story portion of it, but it does have a little bit of something. It's definitely not for everyone. If you're a person who's afraid to lose everything, it can be very, very stressful. But I think that as you play the game and you get more comfortable, you learn how to survive. And it's been a real treat. I've really enjoyed it.
I actually have played this as well, James. I probably played about maybe 4 or 5 hours or so with my brother. And I was familiar with this game when they first announced it. Probably, it might have been about maybe 4 years ago when they first announced it. They did a kind of a CGI trailer to give you some background on what the game was, the world building in the game was going to be like. And I was intrigued. I was intrigued at the time because they initially announced it as a looter shooter. And I was really big into looter shooters. I mean, that's what The Division is, and so many other fantastic third-person action adventure shooter games are typically these days. And it had me really excited, and I love what I saw from what they were doing. And the fact that the developers had come over from Battlefield, right? It was developers from DICE that actually were working on this game. So, they knew how to produce shooters for the most part. And I actually got into the first alpha in this game maybe about 2 years before it was actually going to be releasing. And I had a difficult time really getting into it. The world just felt kind of bare to me. The arc were super aggressive. Really had a hard time understanding what the game was about. Then a year later, probably I'll say maybe within 6 months of the game coming out, I jumped into the beta at that time. And the game was much more developed. There was a lot more to do. There were a lot more people in the world that you could engage with at that time. And the game was better, but I still wasn't enjoying the gameplay loop. I'm just not a PvP guy. I like the PvE elements of it, but I found the world to be a little too barren. I found the arc to be overly aggressive. And then, when you're solo out in the world or you're playing with a group, I was playing with my brother, and you come across another group, there's a very good chance that they're going to attack you to take your loot. It didn't happen often, but it did happen enough to where it frustrated me. And I was like, you know what? I think I've had my fill on this. This is not Helldivers for me.
Yeah.
Because I put 165 hours in Helldivers because I enjoyed the loop, the extraction loop of that game, and the way the combat felt, and the way the shooting and all of the weapons that you get felt. But this one didn't click for me. I'm happy that it did for you though. And you finished it actually. Didn't you get to the last boss?
Well, it doesn't really finish. I did beat the matriarch once. And that was really exciting. But I was telling Anthony earlier before we started, about an experience where we were like, it was getting to be the end of the night. We're like, okay, let's try the matriarch again. And we go in, because your kit has a value. So I would say probably on average, I go in with a kit that's worth between 50 and 70,000. This kit that I built to go fight the matriarch was probably about 120 to 140,000. Oh. And we were all excited. We knew our roles. We knew what we were going to do. We get to the matriarch and someone kills us. And we're like, WTF. Like, F this. Good night. You know what I mean? Like, we're not playing another one. Because, between the three of us, we probably lost about $400,000 worth of like stuff. Wow. And then it literally like took me the better part of a week to like gather the materials to get those things back. And I think once you get over the common term that I hear is that the gear fear of like losing your good stuff, there's always more good stuff out there for you to make and create. And
yeah, but do you want to have to grind again to get it all? That's really
not
the issue
that
for
bad.
me.
So let me put it to you this way: I lost a couple good kits early in the week just to some unfortunate events, whether it be my own doing or another player's. And like 4 or 5 runs really early in the morning when there's not a lot of people on solo, I was right back to where I was before. Once you have the ability to craft stuff, it does get much easier. The chase to get those things is probably the best part of the looting aspect. And then, with the blueprints for the better guns, like once you get those blueprints, it's like, oh, okay, well, now I can really start playing the game.
Gotcha.
But there's probably a good 30 to 40 hours if you're moderately playing, to get to that point. And then once you get to that point where you can craft stuff, it's just, if you lose a couple kits, or you have a bad day or 2 days or 3 days, it's going to take you a little bit to get your stuff back. But I really, really enjoyed that aspect of like, now that I'm past of, I found this good gun, like I hope I don't die, to now, like if I die, I'm like, okay, well, I just got to go build it.
Gotcha. Because I do remember playing and seeing you playing as well, playing with your buddies and whatnot. I thought about reaching out to you, but I was like, you know what? I'm not really digging this game like The Division.
You ever want to stroll? We can stroll, man. I got some stuff. I can drop you stuff.
We might have to do that, man.
That's the other thing.
We might have to do that.
Hey,
Now,
I have a question though. Before we get too far into it, do you not have a Tarrus is a hater bumper? Because I just noticed you played James Anthony, but yet my guy just told you how dope this game was to him. It's his number one. And then you just sprinkled hate all over the top of it, bruh.
Well, this is what I did. I'm going to throw a nod out to one of our good buddies that used to be on the show with us back in the day. I did do a little bit of trash talking Arc Raiders. That was dedicated to our good brother, Brad Pipkins, known as the home theater gamer, who was on the show with us for years before he decided to go ahead and do his own thing. But Brad was very good at trash talking things. So we created that bumper for him, and we play that as a tribute to him when we trash talk things. But I didn't really want to trash talk Arc Raiders all that bad. I guess it did sound like I was doing that. But yeah, it's not The Division for me, though. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. That's fair. Like I said, I really didn't think I was gonna like it at first, and then I just it grew on me.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, let's move on to. The good thing is James didn't rage quit like you did when we played. What was that, James?
Outriders.
Outriders.
Oh man.
At least James didn't rage quit you on that one.
Don't get me started on that. Don't let the people know what happened with that. I'm going to be honest with you. To this day, my all-time favorite video game is Outriders. Absolutely love that game. The story was trash, but the gameplay loop, the combat, what the developers were doing, the vision that they actually had when it came to how the combat in the world was built in this game was just freaking amazing. The problem is it didn't open well, right? It took a little time for you to really feel powerful and really understand what this game was all about. And when me and James were playing, we were playing the opening of the game because that's what they gave us in the demo. And it just didn't really show the game in its proper form.
Sounds like a lot of explaining about why you rage quit.
Yeah, you guys have said Anthony was just trash talking the game, guys. We were only like 5 minutes to 10 minutes in, and he's already trash talking the game. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm done with
No Man's Sky.
I'm done.
No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky. They repaired their image, and the game's going strong. But Outriders came out on DVD or VHS?
I don't get the joke, but I will tell you that
you didn't get a lot of jokes that night either. So
I did. I was too upset, man. I was too upset. We were having a great time. We played The Division before.
Hey, me and James still had a great time.
We had fun, but you were hurt. You were hurt.
Like, man,
he took his ball and went home.
I'm telling you, man, it's like talking about somebody's girlfriend or their woman. It's like, what? Get out of here. That's actually why I created the, for those that don't know, I'm going to play the full bumper for you, but I created this bumper just for them.
When I get thirsty and I just want to hate on something somebody loves, I reach for a nice, cold brewed James Anthony Haterade. Gives you all the electrolytes you need to poo-poo all over it. James Anthony Haterade. It's what's in your cup.
That full bumper was created for them that night. After I got off the line with them, I was like, you know what? They need to know how much I'm upset with them. So I jumped online, created that bumper. I'm like, okay, they're gonna know. But thank you for bringing up those great memories, Anthony. I really appreciate that.
That's what we do on anniversary shows.
All right, so let's move it on to my number one top favorite of 2025. And like Anthony, Ghost of Yotei. This game was just so fantastic, man. I was such a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima. I was really looking forward to Ghost of Yotei as well. And it really didn't matter to me how iterative it was on top of Tsushima. I just liked the gameplay loop of Tsushima so much, I wanted to be back in this world. And the great thing that they did is they added and they did different things than Tsushima. Tsushima, when it came to the combat, was all about the stances. You had different stances for different weapons that you actually had. With Yotei, you actually had different weapons, and you could do different things with those weapons. So I really, really appreciated that. But the world in Yotei, the way they show Japan and the people in Japan, the side stories as well as the main story, in my opinion, was just amazing. For some folks, it may not have hit because it might have been a little too similar to Ghost of Tsushima. But for me, I'm just a big fan of the landscape. I'm just a big fan of medieval Japanese stories and history. One of my favorite TV shows, or favorite movies, I should say, I don't watch black and white movies all that often. I'm just not a fan of older movies like that, particularly American black and white movies. Cowboy movies, I can't stand cowboy movies. Not my thing. But samurai movies from the 1960s and some from the 1950s, I'm all about it. One of my favorite characters, one of my favorite classical characters, is a Japanese character called Ichi, right? The blind samurai. Just an amazing, amazing character with amazing, amazing movies. They're like maybe 20-something movies within the Ichi franchise. And it's the same actor that's played the role the whole time. They actually came out with the TV show after doing all of the movies. I thought about purchasing the Blu-ray set or the DVD set for those movies, and I may still. I was just hoping they'd come out with a remastered version of them, and unfortunately, they've not as of yet. But based on that, I'm a really big fan of Ghost of Yotei. So I'm looking forward to playing the Legends mode when it comes out. The person that I've been playing with as of late, that I referred to you guys earlier, that works out with me, and we're passing the controller now, he's played Ghost of Yotei, and he's finished Ghost of Yotei based on my recommendation, and he's very interested in playing Legends as well, so we'll probably jump on and play some. But just an amazing, amazing game. If you've not had the opportunity to play Ghost of Yotei, you really do need to if you're into video games at all. And this is where Anthony came up with my new nickname, Milk Dud, from this video here, because of how fantastic and how much fun I'm having playing this game. I don't think I move from this position at all. I literally stay in that position the whole time that I'm playing this game because I'm just so intrigued and into what I'm playing. But an awesome, awesome game. All right, guys, that was our top favorites of 2025. Why don't we go ahead and move it on to our most anticipated top three of 2026. But before we do that, why don't we go ahead and take just a little bit of a break?
Calling all video game, movie, TV, and home theatre fans. You're listening to the Fun Waste of Time podcast, where we love to talk shop about your favourite hobbies and all the fun ways to waste your day.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and start things out with Anthony. Anthony, what is your number three most anticipated video game of 2026?
My number three is Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. So I'm kind of looking forward to this, mostly because I love all things Captain America, and the opportunity to just kick the crap out of some Nazis really appeals to me. Throwing Black Panther in there as well. It's pretty good. Pretty good find. You don't get a chance to play Black Panther that often. Well, That's to say I haven't played Rivals though, so maybe that's why. But I haven't had too much of an opportunity, so I'm looking forward to playing them together in a mission game. So that is my number 3.
Fantastic.
Which, by the way, I also want to send a shout out because it kind of is reminiscent of the first Captain America movie, the first Avenger, which Tarrus always throws hate at and doesn't appreciate as much as the rest of us, even though there's a beautiful scene in there with him and Abraham Erskine about why he was selected as the super soldier candidate.
Listen, I'll say the first 2/3 of First Avenger, I really enjoyed. They lost me when they did the montages, the battle montages. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to see Captain America doing some really, really cool combat. And the montages, I felt, kind of robbed us of getting that. But everything prior to the World War II montage that they gave us of him battling out in Europe, I actually enjoyed. I thought they wasted the Red Skull and Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull, because Hugo Weaving is a fantastic villain, and no matter what the heck the guy's in. And the fact that they didn't use him properly, and then they abused him so badly, he didn't want to come back and play the role anymore.
Come on now. Hugo Weaving's got kind of a bad reputation.
He does, actually. I'll be honest.
So, whenever you've got to get him to not look like Hugo Weaving. Hugo Weaving is the type of dude, great actor, great presence, but my man just wants to roll up on the set and just be Hugo Weaving in whatever role he's at.
That is kind of true. That is true.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't remember. I know it said 26, but I don't think it has an exact release date yet. But
yeah, they haven't actually given it a release date. 26 actually is kind of up in the air as well. I mean, there's a good chance that it could come out in 26 because I think it was originally supposed to come out in 25.
Don't jinx it. If we say it enough times, it'll come out.
Okay, well, hey, if you believe it, as long as you believe it, that's all that matters. All right, so let's go to our good buddy, James. James, what is your number 3 most anticipated video game of 2026?
My number 3 is Marathon. It's another PvP, PvE extraction shooter. The reason why this one made my list is more or less because I'm intrigued with the fact that it's being made by Bungie. This one also is a looter shooter, Tarrus, as well. It's got different classes of characters. Basically, drop in, search for loot in a PvP, PvE environment. 6 3-player teams. And just like any other extraction shooter, it's kind of a risk versus reward. There's not going to be a campaign in this either, Tarrus. Sorry. It's just going to be basically, from what they've said, like an evolving narrative based on the player, like how players play the game. Some of the other early things I've seen is like the class-based system. Some people are a little upset like that. They wanted it to be a little bit more customizable. But it seems like it's going to have some Destiny elements where like you have a super and that super is time-based and you can only use it every so often. I guess my only like real concern is I'm not totally in love with the way that it looks. But I haven't, other than videos, like I haven't got a chance to play like in a beta or anything like that yet. So I'm going to kind of reserve judgment. I do know there is a character that can go invisible, and any time that you add that, usually it gets exploited and abused and can make for a bad time. So hopefully they don't make that too overpowered, but I've got Marathon at 3, mostly because it's Bungie 1, and I do like the extraction shooter genre.
Okay. I will say that apparently Bungie's not very fan of the aesthetic of it either because they kept robbing people's art designs.
Yeah, I saw that too, but I'm not here to judge. Who knows what's who's?
Yeah, Tarrus.
I'm just saying, you know, they got it worked out. They did get it worked out, and apparently the assets, they've done some different things with it, which is why they had to delay the game out of 2025 into 2026. Yep. But I'm not really big into first-person shooters all that much, James. So first-person extraction shooters really don't do much for me. A lot of people are really big into, for instance, Borderlands. I bought Borderlands 4 thinking that I'd play with a friend of mine, and I just don't like the gaming loop, for one, of Borderlands 4, and two, first-person shooters really don't do much for me. The only first-person shooter that I've been in love with, and is my favorite first-person shooter to this day, is Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, the reason I enjoyed that so much is because I played that in my theater, and that game is a theatrical experience from beginning to end. The sound, the bass, the tactileness, the objects moving around the room.
Man, not to cut you off, it's James' time to shine. We ain't talking about whatever. Well,
James actually he's done with what he was talking about, but he mentioned to me, he kept mentioning.
I'm just saying, man.
Shooters. So
you're 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2. Crapping on James's list. 2 for 2, bro.
Don't worry, I'm gonna catch him. Because I know he's gonna put a cornball movie on it. I'm biding my time. I'm gonna catch him.
I'm not ragging on you, James.
I'm sure Frankenstein made his top list, and I'm gonna crack on him.
Hey, Tarrus came in like
I got him.
Tarrus came in like a grandpa, reminiscing about some game that ain't even on your top 3. Ain't got nothing to do with what you was talking about.
It actually does. It does, because he was talking about extraction shooters, and he asked me how I felt about extraction shooters and whatnot. I'm just answering his question.
He had to go there.
Yep.
Because it was a theater tie-in. If he can get it to where it can come back to the theater, then it's fair game. So I gotta keep that note. Don't mention something that could tie back to the theater.
Right.
You know me too well, James.
I do.
All right. So my number 1 is, my number 3, most anticipated of 2025 is a game that just recently got announced, actually, at the 2025 Game Awards. And it's called Control Resonant. And those that have actually had the opportunity to play the first Control, it's just a really crazy, over the top, but really fantastic and creative game. And Control, the first one, was more of a shooter. This one is more of a melee game. And I just really, really love what Remedy Entertainment does with their games. They've always done really creative games, from their Alan Wake games to they were the original folks that did the Max Payne games back in the day. So they do some really, really cool and creative games. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how Control Resonant plays out, because there's some really cool elements to it. I think the melee is going to be exceptional because they do combat really, really well. But that is my number 3, most anticipated of 2026. Let's go on to our number 2, most anticipated of 2026. And James, let's go ahead and start with you on this one. What is your number 2, most anticipated of 2026?
My number 2 is Lego Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight. I'm really into Batman, so when I saw that this one was going to cover pretty much Batman's origins, from Bruce Wayne, like starting out in the League of Shadows to becoming Batman to developing his legacy, that was really, really interesting to me. The other fact is it's open world, and we're going to run into all the usual characters within DC as far as villains and partners and team ups. So I'm really, really looking forward to this one. As you saw, they had the Tumblr in the beginning of the trailer. I'm really interested to see, like Anthony likes, is how many of the bat suits are going to be in the game. Like, are we going to be able to be Nightwing? Like, that's what I'm interested in the most, is just if they're going all in and making this all about Batman, like it pretty much should be unlimited. And I'm just excited for it. The Lego games are usually fun. It's usually not anything that's super stressful. It's something that I can just chill and play. And have a good time with. And there's usually a little humor in them too, which isn't a bad thing. And then if there's co-op, maybe I'll see if my daughter will play with me a little bit. I don't know. She's too big into Roblox, but it looks close enough, right?
It actually does.
Looks pretty good, man.
So let's go ahead and go to Anthony's number 2 most anticipated of 2026.
My number 2 is Marvel's Wolverine. I'm really hoping in this game that I at least one time get to yell Berserker Barrage versus in the old Marvel versus Capcom type cap tip.
Wolverine Origins. Was that the game?
I just said Marvel versus Capcom, bro. You don't remember? You used to fight as him and you'd be like, Berserker Barrage.
You know, I never really played that one all that much.
It's like the claws.
Gotcha.
Geez.
Okay.
We just not vibing today, bro. No, but some of the gameplay looks a little sick. I love Omega Red. Some of the characters they're going to include in there. I hope you get a chance to wear the brown and tan suit because I like it much better than the yellow suit that we see here. So, you know, I'm pretty easy to please. Just throw a superhero in there or something, some fighting, make it a third person, and I'll probably be pretty happy with it.
Did you play the Wolverine Origins game that came out probably around 10 or 12 years ago, I believe?
I did.
What'd you think of that?
It was pretty good. You know, for what it was. You know, that whole genre of movie games, I just felt like maybe just 'cause I went out and overindulged as a geek back then, and the Iron Man movie game, the Wolverine Origins game, I had all those. But it wasn't that memorable for me. I had fun with it, but it was like once I moved on, I moved on.
Yeah, that one actually was one of the better of the movie tie-in games. A lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for that particular one because it was true to the character. I mean, it was extremely violent. And Wolverine was tearing people up in that game. And this one kind of has an air of that as well. Like you're really going to be playing who the true character, what the true nature of Wolverine is. In the comic books, you're actually seeing them properly display that here in the video game. It's going to be an interesting play.
I think for me, I was, like I said, I played it, but it didn't really, I don't know, it wasn't really that memorable for me. I think more when I played like Ultimate Alliance and stuff like that, that's when I really started to, those games are a little bit more, I don't know if it's just because I like the sick team ups you could do and we could combine the powers together and stuff like that and the moves. So, but looking forward to it.
It'll be interesting for me to play this game. I'm not really the biggest fan of Liam McIntyre. He's not a bad actor, don't get me wrong. He's the one that played when Andy Whitfield in the Spartacus TV show passed away to cancer. Liam McIntyre, who is the actor that Wolverine is modeled after, took over for him in that series. And he actually was pretty good. Unfortunately, he had he had to overcome the fact that people had fallen in love with Andy Whitfield as Spartacus. And he could never really fill those shoes because of how people felt about Andy Whitfield. But he wasn't bad in the role. It was just kind of unlucky circumstances that he was brought in under. But it'll be interesting to see how he portrays Wolverine. I'm really curious. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I like how true the character is to the comic books for the most part. It'll be a fun and Insomniac, the same studio that makes the Spider-Man games, Spider-Man 1 and 2, they know how to make these Marvel games. So
Sentinel looks sick. So.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I was gonna bring to the party too, as well as Insomniac. Just by like the traversal and the movement, it should be really, really good. Should be really, really good. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Who knows? We might get a cameo.
Yeah, if they get those good movement, if the combat and everything flows and the movements flow just as easy as it, or as well as it did in the Spider-Man games, I'm here for it.
It looks very different though. That's what's funny. Because Spider-Man is a very fluid, kind of smooth animations and the way that he moves because he's jumping around all in the air with his webs and everything else. Wolverine is much more rugged. So it'll be interesting to see how
I just meant the way that you incorporate the moves, like how easy it is to go through combos and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
It might play a little bit more like Infamous Second Son.
That's what I'm thinking,
like
James.
The bouncing back and forth, and even like some of the land traversal will probably be like mirror that a little bit more than Spider-Man.
I can see that. Do you think there will be some cool cameos in here? And do you think there will be a Spider-Man cameo?
I hope so. I'm here for it. I hope they have a whole roster of X-Men and different characters in there.
What do you think, James?
DLCs and everything. I'm here for it.
Probably DLCs. I mean, because it is a console exclusive. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking is it's so violent. Spider-Man is catered more towards young kids as well. You know what I mean? So I don't know if we'll get a Spider-Man cameo in a game of this nature. It'd be interesting to see. I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. But it seems like they may be catered towards, it's the same audiences, but it's more an adult audience than what Spider-Man is typically marketed towards, is basically what I'm seeing. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Okay, so where we at, guys? So that was Anthony's. Was that your number 2?
That was my number 2.
Okay. So I think, who's next? I am. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, let me see here. My number 2 is... let me pull this up here, guys. Give me a hot second. My number 2 is a game that I'm very excited about, to be honest with you. I've been keeping up with this game for, I'll say since it was announced maybe 5 years ago. They've been working on it for a while. And they've just now pretty much started to really show a lot of the gameplay. I mean, they're really they're so confident in this game. They probably shown about maybe 3 or 4 boss fights that the character will experience in the game. And by them doing that, they've gotten a lot of people excited about getting their hands on this game. And
Jesus Christ Simulator?
You're thinking in the right direction, but no. You will.
Yes,
Let's see if you can guess.
Jesus Christ Simulator.
Let's see if you can guess what it is once you actually
Not
see
reacting
some of the
at
gameplay
all.
here. See if this sparks anything for you. We're gonna let the guys take a guess.
Titanfall 4?
Nope. You just saw the game developer, Pearl Abyss. Give them the opportunity to see some gameplay, to see if maybe something triggers for them. Right now, they're showing in-game cutscenes, but it looks very similar to how the game actually plays as well. So there's not a whole lot of difference between the cutscenes and the actual combat and in-game play. No guesses.
Outriders Medieval Times?
Oh, I wish. Don't get me excited. Don't get me excited. No, this game is actually...
No, that game works too well.
Oh, listen to you. Listen to you. Oh, my gosh. No, this game is Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert. Man, the combat in this game just looks freaking phenomenal. I've watched they put out a lot of previews for the game. There are quite a few videos out there where you can watch like 20 to even 30 minutes of different aspects of gameplay of what you will do in this game. And I got to tell you, it's more and more impressive every time I see it. The thing about this game is there's some, I don't know what they call them, pyrotechnics or the effects that you do when you're actually fighting. It just looks really, really impressive. It looks really stylized. It looks really fluid. You're doing wrestling moves in the game as well, which is actually pretty cool. There's just a lot of variety in the way that you can utilize your combat skills in this game. And from what I understand, people that have actually played it, they stated that they were having a hard time playing it initially because they couldn't really get the controls right. Because there are so many different configurations of combat on the controller, they were having a hard time figuring out what does what within the short time that they played. And the reason for that is because if you're thrown a controller to play a game, that you're just getting a very short demo to, and there's some complexity to the game. You're not really going to quite understand it unless you've had the opportunity to sit from the beginning to really learn what the controls are and have the game actually show you how to utilize a lot of the combat mechanics and that kind of thing. So I love that level of complexity that they actually have with combat and how varied it is. But just a really, really phenomenal game. Really excited about it. It's only a couple of months away as of today. Today is Friday, January the 16th. This game comes out on March 19th of this year, 2026. So we'll be seeing what it's all about very soon. Okay, so I think everybody's on their number 2. Yep. Let's move it on to the number 1. Number 1, most anticipated video game of 2026. We went to Anthony last, I think. Let's go to James. James, what is your number 1 most anticipated video game of 2026?
My number 1 is GTA 6. I doubt it'll be out this year, but here's to hoping, right? With this iteration of Grand Theft Auto 6, there's Lucia and Jason. You're going to play as both of them. Lucia is actually the first female lead for Grand Theft Auto 6. Looking like it's going to be like your classic kind of Bonnie and Clyde. She looks like a low-level criminal who's in jail. And looks like you're going to be playing in the great state of Florida, which they're calling Leonida, I believe. Look, I spent a lot of time playing Grand Theft Auto 5. There's a little bit of something in there online for everybody. The campaign was awesome in the last game. And just based on some of the stuff that's been released, I'm really, really excited to play and spend hundreds of hours again doing Florida things. Not like I can't just go outside and do them, but if I did, I'd get arrested.
Are people like this in Florida?
So I'd rather just do it.
Are people like this in Florida for real?
Yeah. I mean, there is a website. So yeah, there's definitely things in this trailer that I have seen either in person or on the news since I've lived in Florida. So I think it'll it's a great place. The one thing I haven't liked about this though is there's been like tons and tons of like fake AI videos that have come out, and like we've come so far, like people are like creating fake AI videos of the game, and it's hard to tell. And like I feel like that's going to happen with bigger and bigger things where you see fake AI videos or fake trailers of things and you're like, oh wow, and then you got to like legitimately go and fact check it. Yeah. So it's a weird time that we're going into with the AI stuff, but the stuff that has officially come out, I'm here for it, and I'm hoping it does make it this year and before my daughter graduates high school. But we'll see. Anthony, what about you? What's your number 1, man?
My number 1 is 007, First Light. Nice. So I'm a big James Bond fan to begin with, and even though I hated first-person shooters, I used to play GoldenEye all the time. So this time takes me back. I think there were some games on PS4. The PS4 or PS3, I can't remember, with the Daniel Craig James Bond. And they were just passable, but I still kind of liked them. This thing looks better than anything that's come before it. So I'm really excited to play as a young James Bond and get through some of these missions. It's I believe it's from the same people, or it's similar to the action that was in the Hitman series. Did they make that, Tarrus? I don't remember.
They did, actually. IO Interactive.
Yeah.
That makes the Hitman games make this. It was a very compatible developer making this game, because Hitman has a lot of sensibilities to what a 007 James Bond game would be, even prior to them taking it over. So, yeah.
And I kind of like the Hitman series. At times I feel like some of the creep factor and the stalking around, I didn't like that. It slowed the game down a little bit sometimes.
The stealth features?
Stealth features.
Gotcha.
Wasn't a big fan of that portion of the game as much. I don't mind it once in a while, but in the Hitman games. Hopefully they don't carry that forward in this, where I'm sure there will be some where you have to be kind of stealthy, but I hope you kind of get that option of stealth or no stealth.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
that's my number one most anticipated game.
Fantastic selection. Well, let's move it on to me. My number one most anticipated of 2026 is a game, a franchise that I've just fallen in love with as of late. It's called Lords of the Fallen 2. Now, this is another Souls-like game, but the difference between other Souls-like games and this Souls-like game is this literally is the first Souls-like game where you can play the entire campaign from beginning to end co-op with a buddy. And it is an amazing experience. I still have a friend of mine who I played a lot of the Souls-like games, who got me into playing Souls-like games because he was so into them. And we started playing the Remnant Souls-like shooter games first. Then we branched off to playing Elden Ring. And we did the PC co-op mod in Elden Ring. And from there, we went on, after we finished that, to the first Lord of the Fallen game that came out in 2023. And that game was just amazing. Amazing. It was the first time that I fully understood how to play these games and how the mechanics are supposed to be utilized and are supposed to be exploited, basically. But the fact that the game gave you the opportunity to play from beginning to end co-op with a friend, and it did this dual level type of thing. I can't recall the name of it now because it's been so long since I played, where one level you could utilize a kind of a dark feature of your character, and you could turn that level into the same level, but it just looked completely different. And then there were just different ways for you to maneuver through the level that you couldn't maneuver through the normal level. And the whole game was set up that way. Just a fantastic freaking experience. The boss fights were awesome. The combat felt really good. The weapons that you get, the gear, the way you level, just freaking amazing. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. And what's funny is I've been watching a lot of the developer commentary YouTube videos that they've been putting out, because they've been putting out videos to get people excited about the game, talking about some of the things that they've done in the development of the game when it comes to the type of characters you're going to run into, the level design, the world, some of the lore that's going on in the world. And they're doing a fantastic job marketing this game. Let me just say that. So this is my number one. I am really excited about it. They've not announced the official release date as of yet, but it is supposedly coming in 2026, and that will be a full three and a half years from the original game when that released back in 2023. Lords of the Fallen 2, for those who are interested in maybe pre-ordering it or looking a little more into it. Fantastic. Okay. Well, guys, that was our video game segment, talking about our top 3 favorite video games of 2025 and our most anticipated video games of 2026. Now we're going to move it on to doing the same thing, but for TV and for movies. So why don't we go ahead and get that going?
Movies and TV. In a world where movies and TV are on the same level playing field, what are you watching? The Fun Waste of Time Podcast.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about our top 3 favorite TV shows of 2025. We're going to go ahead and start it out with Anthony. Anthony, what is your number 3 top favorite TV show of 2025?
That would be Stranger Things Season 5. So it definitely felt like the end of an era with this season. And you could just tell the difference between where we came from and where we got to. that's the thing with kids when you have them in productions, especially when it takes a little bit of time to get going. They age pretty rapidly or start to look very different from when it started. But I think it was overall a good season. I felt like it probably focused a little too much on Holly and the 12 kids, and it kind of stole focus, and it kind of prevented, in my mind, the Duffer Brothers from wrapping up some key storylines, as a matter of fact. Like, what happened to Dr. Owens, and what happened to Derek's parents, and all these other things that they kind of left out. I know that they said that some of these plot holes or these threads will be tied up in their spin-off series. But, you know, if you're going to have a finale, you should wrap them up there. And especially when it's 2 hours long. So I felt like, you know, maybe introducing Holly's storyline was probably took up too much of the season, in my opinion, it without any real payoffs for it. But I will say it's still better than the Game of Thrones finale. So I know they were worried about fans being as upset with the way it ended as the Game of Thrones fans were, but I didn't get a sense for that, even though they did kind of leave the ending, kind of ambiguous for you to determine how you thought it ended. Again, just a minor thing. Anybody who's played D&D, I really think that the Duffer Brothers' lack of familiarity with the world kind of comes off here. The great news is if you didn't ever play D&D or not a huge D&D follower, you probably won't pick up on the miscues and stuff like that. But as somebody who used to play quite a bit, I had to get over some of the misused terminology and ideas and concepts. But overall, I thought it was good. I think the problem it's going to have is obviously all finales kind of struggle to some degree with how they wrap up their storylines for characters you followed for a long time. But I think it's precipitated in this case because season 4 is probably the best season of the whole series, in my opinion. So trying to follow that up, I think they were just not as tight as they were in season 4. But overall, I thought it was a good season. How about you, James?
For 2025, my number 3 was Severance season 2. I picked up, I believe, the first season on one of your recommendations or another friend's recommendation. And I watched season 1 not too long before season 2 started. I really like the show. I like Mark and the people that he works with and the kind of the adventures of them being essentially two different people. Their outer person, which is who they are when they're not at work, and then their person who they are when they are at work. Their innie, as they call it. And just kind of his struggle through the show to kind of figure out what the hell's going on. I don't want to give away too much about it, just in case, because it is still, even though there was I think 2 years between season 1 and season 2. If you're interested in sci-fi, thrillers, a little bit of comedy, workplace drama, I think it's a really good show, and it's definitely something that I would recommend for people to check out. Acting's really good. Ben Stiller's low-key kind of doing some good stuff now here and there. So I really enjoyed Severance season 2, and I'm looking forward to the third season. Tarrus, what about you? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is a show that you can actually find on Hulu right now. And you guys are pretty much going to take care of all of the more popular shows that came out this past year. I'm going to focus on some ones that I think typically would get a lot less attention. And just because they get less attention doesn't mean that they're not fantastic shows. And the show that I'm referring to is a show based on it's a Korean show, actually. And it's called A Shop for Killers. And the cool thing about this show is it is just action-packed. The story's really good. if you want something different, if you like action stories, this is going to be something that I really do think that you would enjoy. I'm not going to spoil the premise of what the show's about, but I will give you a taste just to maybe whet your appetite to probably want to go check it out. But it's a man who pretty much runs a shop for assassins. Something happens, nobody knows where he's at, and his niece has basically been delegated to potentially take over. Is she capable of doing it? Does she have what it takes? That's pretty much the premise. And she's got people coming after her because there's some people that want her, that want this shop, that want other things. So really, really fantastic show. And if you're not into shows with subtitles, you want something that's dubbed, you don't have to worry about that with this one here. I do believe there's a dub, but the subtitles, whenever you're watching shows that have subtitles in your own home, you can always stop it, read whatever you want to read to make sure that you're understanding what's going on with the dialogue, and then proceed from there. Don't let the fact that it's a subtitled show keep you from experiencing something that is just phenomenal, that you really probably would enjoy if you like these types of movies. And once again, the name of the show is called A Shop for Killers. It is on Hulu right now, and it's a phenomenal show. It's not action for action's sake. There is some story going on within the various episodes within the season. Things will make sense because of how much time they take with what's going on with the story. And that's one of the reasons why I like, and I've been watching a lot more foreign shows, for lack of a better term, Asian shows in particular, right? A lot of Japanese shows, a lot of Korean shows. They make some phenomenal television, guys. I mean, these Korean directors are doing some amazing things with stories that are coming out from their area. And my wife has really been into their types of shows for many, many years. And I've been getting into them over the years as well. But now it's like they've really mastered their craft when it comes to putting out fantastic television shows. So that show, once again, is A Shop for Killers. If you want something action-packed, you're not afraid of something with subtitles, then definitely check it out. I really do think that you may enjoy it. All right, let's go to James next. James, what is your number two?
My number two for 2025 was Alien Earth. I really enjoyed Alien Earth. It was on FX. For me, the fact that a spaceship crashed on Earth, and you follow basically the journey of a young woman named Wendy and a group of her friends who are like her. They are human synth hybrids, and they battle through basically an identity crisis while dealing with one of the most dangerous creatures to ever come to Earth, and that's the alien, aka the xenomorph. There was a little lull for a couple episodes towards the end of the season, but overall I thought it started really strong, more thriller based towards the beginning because you weren't really sure what they were going to do with the aliens. There was also different species that were introduced that really, to me, added like another layer based to what was shown in the movies. I also liked that, after that lull, the action picked back up, and it really ended in a place where I thought that they can continue with it, and I hope that they do continue with it. What's your number two, Anthony?
My number two was Slow Horses Season 5, which is kind of surprising for me. But of all the seasons I've watched, this is probably my favorite. And it really highlighted Gary Oldman and his brilliance in this show. He's just hilarious. I was a little worried early on because one of the main characters got an abrupt departure. I hope she comes back soon. They kind of left.
And it's so funny, Anthony, because when you mentioned that the last time we had the discussion about what you were watching, I got upset with you because I was like, dude, you are spoiling the dang show for me. But it really wasn't much of a spoiler, to be honest with you.
No, it happened pretty early in the season.
It did.
And it didn't give much more explanation, but it kind of left it open-ended to maybe where she can come back, hopefully later on. But one of the good things also with this season was Jack Lowden's Cartwright. I think he was funnier and just more well-rounded of a character this season, because I get why he was the way he was in the earlier season, but I kind of felt like, he was just so serious all the time. But they actually gave him some humor, and I think it was just a good story overall, and very it's very applicable in the world today, the storyline. If this would have came out maybe 5 years ago, it might have seemed a little far-fetched, but given how things are going these days, totally conceivable that something like that could be going on. So that was my number 2. Tarrus?
Okay, cool. My number 2 is a show that I think has pretty much taken the world by storm because of how well the writing is done. It's a very popular franchise that a lot of people actually love. And those who have not been fans of it, I really believe that their taste in content really needs to be questioned, because it's done so well, and we've not seen anything like this in this type of franchise before, because it's telling an adult story. It's breaking away.
Wait, hold on. Gaslighter. Are you insinuating that Star Wars shows or stories are not adult stories?
I am. I'm telling you that this is the most adult, mature, and well done story in the whole franchise of Star Wars. My favorite movie out of the Star Wars franchise was Rogue One, and my favorite TV show to come out of the Star Wars franchise is Andor. And this is Andor Season 2. Phenomenal show, guys. Just freaking amazing. Absolutely
C-SPAN
love.
Season 2. Nice.
Call it what you will, C-SPAN, CNN, whatever you want to call it. The great thing about this show that I absolutely loved is it really expanded on the world building of Star Wars and the lore of Star Wars. We got the opportunity to actually see how some of these characters live on other worlds than just the Tatooine and all of these basic worlds that we actually go to.
How did you say the
in Star
planet
Wars.
again? Tatooine?
That's how little I care about it.
That's what
how
we're
little-
saying. Okay.
That's how little I care
All right.
about the other Star Wars franchises, man, because they kept botching them
So disrespectful.
at every
So
opportunity
disrespectful.
they've had. But in my opinion, Andor season 1 was phenomenal as well. And the great thing about how I watched season 1, I watched it when the season was done. I didn't watch it week to week. If I watched it week to week, I may not have been as into it, because I just don't like watching television that way all that much. And this is the type of show that's kind of a slow burn. But once it actually starts to build, it's amazing some of the things that actually happens within the story. And it's a spy thriller. There's a lot of suspense that goes on with it. There's a lot of politics that happens within it. There's some very good action that goes on in it. Very compelling characters within the franchise. The Ben Foster, amazing. Skarsgård, I can't think of the
Ben
Skarsgård
Foster.
father.
Who's Ben Foster playing there?
I'm not Ben Foster. Help me out. What's his name?
I don't watch it.
Oh, you don't watch it?
I tried to. Look, so I've tried to recently rewatch this because it's topical now. And I've seen some of the speeches that have been on Instagram and stuff like that, and how they're kind of mirroring some of the things we're going through. But man, trying to get to where the stuff that you see, the clips, it's got a pacing problem, bro. It's got a real pacing problem.
I disagree, man. I disagree. I really do. Ben Mendelsohn. My apologies, guys. I said
okay.
Ben Foster. Ben Mendelsohn. And Stellan Skarsgård, right? The father of the two popular actors these days that are doing quite a bit of work. But Diego Luna, freaking phenomenal
I
as the
love
main
him.
character
He was
in the
great
show.
in Narcos Mexico.
Oh, he's great in that, and that's probably one of the major reasons they gave him the lead role in Andor and within Rogue One, because of how charismatic he is as an actor. But
And he might be the youngest person in the entire cast.
I don't know if he's the youngest person, because the character that plays his right hand, his love interest,
okay.
she looks like she's fairly young as well.
It looks like
isn't on diabetes medication.
I mean, no offense. This looks like
Cialis or any of those
this,
commercials.
This looks like it's ripped right from the Golden Girls studio or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, man. Listen, I really do wish, this is what I wish you two would do the next time we have an episode of the show. I want you to just watch the first 3 episodes
I can't. I'll fall asleep.
of the first Andor. Just watch the first 3 episodes, man. Just do it for me, because I've done things for you.
I will
right?
try. I've gotten through
like
the
Rogue
first
One.
episode. I just haven't gotten up to start the second one after watching the first one.
Okay.
It's not on my Hulu. So I don't have it.
Listen to you making
Not
all
there.
kinds of excuses.
Disney
man.
dropped it.
Come on now. Like
Disney
you've
dropped it
recommended
off the
things-
channel.
I have a different Disney than you. Mine's
Look.
like, I don't know. In a country it's banned. Andor is banned in Cameroon.
We've got the 50 and below Disney.
Hey, listen, you guys recommended all kinds of crazy stuff during your open forums. James recommended some food that I've tried, some goldfish food that I've tried.
Wait a
Anthony's
minute. What
recommended
did that
all
take you
kinds-
like
all
10
kinds
minutes
of
to
comic
try the
books.
food? This is going to take hours and days of our
3
life.
episodes
Well, listen,
is
my
might
taste
get
buds
more
and my
great beer.
appetite is just as important as my time. Right?
Okay.
So you can take 2 to 3 hours out of your
I
out of your
tried
day.
Outriders. That was strike 1, 2, and 3 for you. So
This is the Outriders of Disney Plus.
Look, you guys, you just don't know
100%.
good content, man. That's all it is.
Live action Outriders movie.
Just don't know good content, man. Let's move on.
Don't rage quit. We need you here for this episode.
yeah, team needs you for this one.
Hey,
for
hey,
sure.
you know what these guys are doing? Let me tell you what these guys are doing, man, for real.
James Anthony Hatery.
It's what's in your cup. I tell you,
See,
man.
I told you, Anthony, he was going to leave something like Andor for me for
Yeah,
later.
you were
That was
right.
good.
You're right. You got him back.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and move it on to I think it's everybody's on the number 2, right?
One.
We've all done our number 2s?
Yep, we're on 1 now.
Okay, let's go to number 1. Let's go to James. James, what is your number 1 most anticipated 2026?
Oh, we're on number 1 for.
I'm sorry.
TV shows. Yeah.
Top favorite TV shows of 2025. My apologies.
Mine was Anthony's number 3, and the only reason it's my number 1 is because it was the finale, and that's Stranger Things. I just to keep it short because we already went over it. I probably in the minority. I enjoyed the finale. I like how Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Will, and Elle's story ended up. I was a little nervous, going into the end of it, that maybe they were just gonna fight Vecna and leave kind of the D&D big boss battle out of it, and I'm really glad that we got a mystical creature on top of Vecna, and that I guess for me, once we got to that point, past all the other swan songs up to it, that really just tied it together, and I was like, all right, I can accept it. I did really enjoy the kind of the separation of the originals and the elder kids, and how they, the elder kids got together and kind of did their thing, and it didn't really, I guess, pollute the core of the show, the kids part of the show. I thought it was pretty well done. No, like Anthony said, you're not gonna appease everybody, and no, it wasn't Game of Thrones, and I think it was proper. And I'm looking forward to watching the little side stuff to explain some of the plot holes. I do agree with you about Holly. I didn't really understand that, unless they're going to try and segue that later on down the line. If Netflix wants to do something with it or something, they have a base to go off of. That kind of was, to me, was the only reason why they would do something like that, is that if they chose to do something later that they could. But I enjoyed it. I appreciated it for what it was. It was a good 10 years. Agree with Anthony. Like 4 was so good. Season 4 was so good. It was the same thing with Dexter. The season with John Lithgow was so good. Like, how do you ever even come close to topping that? And that's kind of, I guess, like my barometer is once you get to that one, you're chasing something that you're probably never going to get back.
Yeah.
And they did a good job. I'm happy with the way that it ended. I like that you have the option to believe whatever you want.
Yeah.
You want to believe in the D&D, the story, the book that she got what she wanted, or do you want to just be like, no, I'm good. Like, that's how it ended. I really like that you have the choice, and they just didn't like take it from you essentially.
There's a nice Easter egg that I missed though in season 1. It's an X-Men reference, and if you see that, it kind of steers you one way or the other. That's all I'll say. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody or whatever, but there's a really nice, and I'm thinking they did it intentionally. I hope they did. I hope it wasn't just somebody looking back and reaching, or a coincidence, but it seems like it was always plotted out. But it was interesting.
Yeah, I definitely, I really enjoyed it. A little long, but I did enjoy it.
Okay. Well, let's go to Anthony. Anthony, what is your number 1 top favorite of 2025?
My number 1, even though it's got 1 episode left, is Percy Jackson and the Olympians season 2. The season just takes off and just never stops for me. The cast was phenomenal in season 1. They come back a little older, and but they're just as good as they were in season 1. They added Daniel Deemer, I think that's how you say his name, as Tyson. He plays a really good part, and I love the way they integrate the original characters from mythology, but yet it's kind of a fresh spin or fresh way of looking at it. But it surprisingly follows the storyline pretty closely, or at least the characters or the type that they're supposed to be pretty closely. Whereas season 1, a lot of the tasks were Perseus based. I feel like this season is more kind of like Jason and the Argonauts type, with going after the Golden Fleece and things of that nature. I just love the writing, the scenes. It's just, they pull these things out and you think you know which way they're going to go, and they give you a little bit of a sidestep. The only thing I wish they could have incorporated a little bit more of is I really like from season 1, Adam Copeland, who is the wrestler Edge, for those who remember him back from his WWE days. He played an awesome God of War, and he's just entertaining. There, he's right there. He's just fun. I wish they would have found a way to bring him back a little bit more, but I understand why not. This one's really focused on the kids in the quest, and I'm okay with that. It gave us something fresh, but just as entertaining. So they've got 1 more episode left, and I'm really excited for it, and I can't wait to... I think they're shooting season 3 now, I think is what I saw. So one of my favorite shows from season to season.
I'm looking forward to watching this one too, Anthony. I watched the first season and quite enjoyed it. This is one of the ones that I actually was waiting for the whole season to drop before I actually dedicated time to it. And now that I know that they're on the last episode, now I think it's the time to jump back into it. Good to hear that you enjoyed it, though, because...
I do. I will give one warning, though. If you've read the books, there are some things that diverge greatly from the books. However, I think the difference is because Rick Riordan is involved, the author is involved with those. It's things that he wanted to do that he never really got a chance to do with the books or whatever. Some changes he wanted to make. But I would say if you're open to it, it still takes it to a good place.
Okay. Well, my number 1 top favorite of 2025 is a TV show that I absolutely adored. And once again, it's a foreign film. It's out of Japan. It's called Last Samurai Standing. And once again, if you love action, if you love hack and slash and sword play and good story and martial arts and that kind of thing, this will be a series for you. It's broken into 6 episodes. Episodes are about an hour or so long, but they're done really, really well. And the sword play is just phenomenal. I really love what Japan and, like I said, Korea are doing with a lot of their TV shows these days, because they're just extremely cinematic and extremely action-packed, and it's grounded action. I don't like a lot of that wire work kind of action and floating on leaves and that kind of thing.
Hey.
I like it much more grounded. That's just me personally. But this is that, and it is over the top. It's fun, brutal. The characters are intriguing and interesting, and you're the ones who you're rooting for. You really want to see them make it. Not everybody does, but it's just done extremely well. And it kind of reminds me, there's some movies that are on Netflix in a very similar vein called Rurouni Kenshin, and it's based on the Rurouni Kenshin anime. And the live action is done so well, if you'd never seen the anime, you would not know that it was attached to an anime series, because that's how well and how far along Japanese cinema has come to reproducing live action adaptations of their animated series. This one, I'm not sure if it's an anime or not. I don't believe it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but it's done extremely well. The story is just phenomenal. So if you're looking for something action-packed, you're looking for a good story, once again, subtitled. Subtitles are okay, guys. Like I said, just pause it, read what you need to read, and then you can fast forward it if you're watching it in your home. It's not like you're watching it in a commercial theater or anything. But this was my number 1 top favorite TV show of 2025. It is just that good, guys. You want something good to watch, definitely check out Last Samurai Standing. Okay, so we've done our top favorite TV shows of 2025. Now we're going to go ahead and move it on to our most anticipated TV shows of 2025. And as I stated, I probably didn't state this in the beginning. I probably should have, but this is going to be a longer episode. It's going to be a longer episode because typically what we do is, normally we break these two into 2 separate episodes. We do our top favorites of 2025 in an episode, and then we do our most anticipated of 2026 in an episode. But we had something else going on in December, but I wanted to make sure that we got these episodes out this year. So bear with us. We're having a fantastic time talking about this stuff with you guys. We hope you are as well. But as stated, this is going to be a bit of a longer episode than we would normally do.
But the good news is it costs the same amount.
It does. And the Fun Waste of Time finance department is footing the bill on everything associated with it.
There you go.
Nobody else is contributing to that expense. But let's go ahead and move it on to our most anticipated of 2026. But before we do, let's take a short break.
You're listening to the Fun Waste of Time podcast.
All right, let's go to Anthony on this one here. Anthony, what is your number 3 most anticipated TV show of 2026?
My most anticipated is one that I came to kind of late. The season 1 I came to kind of late to the party, and that was Blue-Eyed Samurai season. This is to be season 2, but season 1 I was a little late to. Up until I had seen the show Arcane, this was probably the most beautiful animation I had seen in a long time. But it's still right up there. Like I said, right behind Arcane. I love the storyline. I love the characters, the action, the way it was shot. Everything about it was just awesome. I look forward to seeing what season 2 has in store for us. So I've been actually waiting for this one for quite a long time.
James, have you seen season 1 of Blue Eye Samurai?
No.
Never seen it?
What?
Okay.
It's awesome, bro.
It's a really, really good show. Really good show. Have you
don't
watched
seem
Arcane?
like you don't. Wait, is this an Andor thing for you?
No, but it's not an Andor thing.
What's the deal with Andor thing? What does that even mean?
It means like something
come on.
that the minute you see
That
it,
I
you
would
know
never
that you
even
don't
look.
want to watch it.
No.
Andor thing. These
No,
guys.
I mean, I don't really. I don't know. I'll watch that Primal one. That one Primal, that Taurus. But this one, I'm not sure. There's
Okay.
a lot of kung fu going on in this
It's
episode.
not
That kind of
kung
throwing
fu.
me through a loop.
It's not kung
So
fu,
I'm-
bro.
I'm a little samurais and kung fu kicks and Taurus telling people to
it's not.
pause and read subtitles, which is just wild to me. So I'm kind of just taking it all in.
Right. Well, like I said,
my
I
shit
wanted
was American, like my French fries.
Oh my god. I'll throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Hey, look, I knew you guys were going to have that covered. So I wanted to do something different with my list
it's
this
cool.
year.
I'm probably gonna watch one of them because I'm not giving you that much time or credit. So I'm gonna pick one. But I got the Percy Jackson.
Okay,
movie.
if you pick one, I suggest you do Andor. Do Andor.
Not happening.
Good luck with it.
Okay. So, James, what is your number 3 most anticipated of 2026?
Mine is actually coming very soon, and it's Alex Cross season 2. I will be fully transparent. I'm not a big book reader, but I think I read 9. There's like 20 something, 9 or so of the Alex Cross books. So when I saw they were coming out on the TV show, I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. And I try and, with all the money that I spend on subscriptions, watch a little bit of something on everything. And Prime doesn't have too many things that I'm interested in. Because Rings of Power is trash, and a couple other shows around there aren't very good.
Easy,
But this
easy.
one, to me was something that I would like. I really enjoyed the first season. I thought it was pretty well done, and I'm looking forward to the second season. Pretty big cliffhanger at the end of the first season. It's only 8 episodes for the first season, so it's not a huge commitment. And if you like James Patterson and you like Alex Cross, who did Kiss the Girls, this is something definitely that I would recommend, and I'm looking forward to. Now, just so you know, if you've never read any Alex Cross books, the gentleman that plays Alex Cross in this TV show is a very accurate depiction of Alex Cross, whereas Morgan Freeman, a short old black man, is not. Alex Cross' build and description in the first books fits more accurately with how he looks in the TV shows. That was one of the things that when I first watched Kiss the Girls, I was like, that's not Alex Cross. That's Morgan Freeman playing a character that looks nothing like himself. But I really did enjoy it. If you like thrillers and you like mystery and detective work, if you like Luther, this is a good show that's similar, kind of in the same vein as far as cop dramas go, except they're based on books.
Well, let me ask you this. If you didn't think Morgan Freeman fit the role of Alex Cross, what'd you think of Tyler Perry?
No. Doesn't fit the description. No. I think if I remember correctly, now this is a long time ago. So like this, I think Kiss the Girls was the 90s.
Yeah.
And the book came out in the early 90s. He's described as like a 6'2", tall, dark, and handsome. And Morgan Freeman and Tyler Perry do not.
You didn't
fall
think
into
Medea
those
Cross
categories.
was good?
No, I'm good, bro.
Tyler Perry is 6 feet tall, dark, and handsome. Come on now.
He's shorter than Will Smith. I'm pretty sure he's shorter than Will Smith. So no.
Okay.
But yeah, Cross season 2. I'm really looking forward to that.
We're all 6 foot on camera.
I'm not. Close. Thor's the only one that lives in that land.
Hollywood
You could
magic.
be Alex Cross, Taurus.
You couldn't
It
tell
should
with
be
my
him instead
Anthony
of the guy
with
from
Anthony calling me
Andor.
Milk Dud. I don't know if I actually fit the role.
They got
pretty
some.
sure.
You could go to where is it? Where they go? India or Mexico to get that fixed up real. They fix it up for you real quick.
Oh, good. Okay. So my number 3 most anticipated of 2026, the TV show, is a show called Spartacus, House of Asher. And if you've not seen the Spartacus TV show, then I got to be honest, you're missing out on some fantastic TV. I was a big fan of the first Spartacus series that came out back in the day with, as I stated, Andy Whitfield as the lead actor playing Spartacus. And Stephen S. DeKnight was the showrunner on that show. And he did a fantastic job. The first couple of episodes were a little rough, but then the show really started to find its own. The action, the combat, the actors playing the gladiators, and the actors that were playing the Romans, the owners of the gladiator, and the Doctore, and all of the other characters involved within running a gladiator house were just really phenomenal. I cannot think of the actor's name, but the actor that played the brother of, I think her name was it Rachel Weisz in The Mummy, the 90s Mummy with Brandon Fraser.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah, he played the owner of the gladiator.
John Hannah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Say it again.
John Hannah.
He
was married to Lucy
fantastic.
Lawless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucy Lawless played his wife in the show as well.
Xena.
But just a really, really awesome show, man. And they came out with a couple of other spinoffs of it. And there was another character called Gannicus in one of the other shows after this season Andy Whitfield did. The actor that played him was just amazing. Really, really awesome show. So when they actually stated that they were going to be making a new Spartacus show, and it was going to be based on a character from the original series called Asher, man, I was really excited because Asher was a very interesting character, but boy, was he such a freaking weasel, man. Was he conniving, but he was dangerous because he was injured. I think he was crippled in the original series, but the way they bring him back was it was kind of a cop out because something happened to him in the original series. But I'm happy that they did because I always thought that him as a character needed to be explored much more because he was just that interesting. But this show's it's already out. It came out in December, but I've been anticipating it coming out ever since they made the announcement back in 2025. And now there are quite a few episodes out. I've been watching some episodes since the beginning of the year, and it has not disappointed. It's gotten off to a slow start, but it's really beginning to find its footing now. And if you're interested in this show, now would be the time for you to watch it. And that is Spartacus, House of Asher. Excuse me. It's on Stars. And if you don't want to subscribe to Stars, then you're missing out on a really good show. But I do get waiting for all of the episodes to come out before you subscribe to it. But it's definitely worth a watch. So that is my number 3 most anticipated TV show of 2026. Let's move it on to our number 2. Let's go to James on this one. James, what is your number 2 most anticipated TV show of 2026?
That would be The Boys, the final season. Don't know if you guys keep up with it, but basically Homelander's kind of seized control of the U.S. by martial law at this point. He's deputizing Supes underneath his command. I'm looking forward to seeing how the boys get back together and get out of the situation that they're in based on how the last season ended and how the end of Gen V was. I'm really interested to see how they're going to tie this all up. I haven't read the comics or anything like that, so I don't know how it ends there. But I am looking forward to another show that I've liked and followed coming to an end, and I just hope they do a good job and it's not just as the track record of the show has kind of been blow them up, kill everything, kill everybody. I hope it doesn't end like that, and it's a little bit more definitive. But I'm really looking forward to the final season of The Boys. What about you, Anthony? What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is Lanterns. Has Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart, and he's I don't know if everybody remembers that movie on Netflix, The Rebel Ridge. He did a good job in there. Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights plays Hal Jordan. And it's supposed to be kind of like, they bill it as a True Detective type story. This little teaser was entertaining to me. My only concern is I'm hoping that they do not ground it too much, keep us on Earth too much, because the whole point is it should be cosmic. And I'm hoping that we get a chance to see that. I hope they get a chance. I know Guy Gardner will show up because that's one of James Gunn's favorite. But I hope Kyle Rayner, who's my favorite Green Lantern, gets a chance to show up in the show as well. I'm kind of curious about the costume designs and stuff because they kind of really muffed Superman's design. So I'm hoping they at least clean it up a little bit with the Lantern's design. But I'm intrigued by it.
Do you think Ryan Reynolds is going to make a cameo?
No, as a matter of fact, I think that was kind of a running joke. I don't know if it was a joke or if it was somewhat serious at the time, but James Gunn did reach out to Ryan Reynolds after he took over the studio, but it's not really clear if he was kind of joking about him making an appearance or not. But
would you be on board with that?
Yeah, why not? Well, no, probably not, though, because the thing is, I've had, we keep doing these multiverse things, and if Kyle Chandler's going to be Hal Jordan, we can't have Ryan Reynolds come back as Hal Jordan, too.
That's fair. That's fair. I didn't know, it would be, one of those clout things, or how James Gunn likes to do things a little bit different, if he'd just be like, oh, yeah, why not?
Yeah. I just hope not, because that's,
comic book people's lives and worlds.
Marvel has opened the door to the multiverse and just won't ever put it down ever again.
All right. So my number 3, most anticipated of my number 2, I'm sorry, most anticipated of 2026, of course, is Primal Season 3. This show is amazing. And one of my all-time favorite, it is my all-time favorite animated show because of the action that's in it, because of the storytelling. And there's no dialogue in this TV show, in this animated show whatsoever. There is communication sometimes that goes on between certain tribes, certain people within certain tribes. You don't understand it. They don't give you any subtitles to make you understand what it is they're saying. And that happens very, very rarely. So it's pretty much a silent show, and it tells its story through its visuals and through some of the action that happens throughout the episodes of the show. But it is a awesome show. I mean, I'm absolutely in love with this, and one of my favorite animators is Genndy Tartakovsky, as I stated earlier. And I think I misspoke a while back when I said that he created the Powerpuff Girls. He didn't create the Powerpuff Girls, but he was the lead in developing the Powerpuff Girls TV show. Back when it came on back in the late 90s and that kind of thing. But he's done a lot of awesome stuff since. He's done the Clone Wars, the animated Clone Wars show. He did Samurai Jack. He did Dexter. A lot of other really cool stuff he's done as well. So this one was one that actually spoke to me because I'm a big Conan fan, and this has a very strong air of being a fantasy world similar to what you would see of a Conan character and of a Conan world. So if you want a fantastic animated show, you've not had the opportunity to check out Primal just yet, start with season 1. It's on HBO. You can watch it from the beginning, and season 3 is on HBO as well. They're releasing them weekly. So you can watch season 1, season 2, get caught up, and by the time you get to season 3, the episode will be maybe halfway done, maybe even nearly done. but high recommend for Primal.
This one I can second your recommendations. There's not many that you bring up, but this one was a good one. And I saw January 11th on there, so I'm probably going to watch that after.
I appreciate the support, James, but I really would have appreciated it more with Andor. I'll be real with you.
Or Outriders.
Primal's cool. I was a little unsure when you first brought it up eons ago, but I'll give you your props on that one. That one I really do enjoy.
I'll take it. All right. Well, let's move it on to our number one most anticipated TV show of 2026. Let's start with Anthony on this one. Anthony, what is your number one most anticipated TV show of 2026, my friend?
My most anticipated is Harry Potter, the HBO. I was almost at HBO Max, the HBO series. I kind of came to Harry Potter backwards. So I actually started riding the rides at Universal, and then I watched the movies, and then I read the books. So I did everything in probably the reverse order that anybody should ever do it, but that's me. I am curious to see, since they're going to dedicate a season to each book, if some of the things that were cut out or changed in the movies, I'm really serious to see how it comes out on screen. Casting has been okay for me. The few ones I've seen, I'm not really a huge fan of John Lithgow, though, and him as Dumbledore, I still can't see it. Michael Gambon just had such a presence and such a good voice that I just don't see the guy from Third Rock from the Sun bringing the same weight to the character that James Gambon did. So we'll see. I do like Nick. What's his name? Nick Croft? Not Nick Croft. Is it? It's always with. He's in with Simon Pegg all the time.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name.
Anyway, he looks pretty close to a good Hagrid, so we'll see how they fill out the cast. I don't know. The kids look okay to me. They look pretty good. I haven't seen all the casting yet. Just seen rumors and stuff. I kind of want to be a little bit surprised. So I'm looking forward to it. It's almost inevitably not going to be able to live up to my expectation, I'm pretty sure. Because
do you think it makes it through what? There's 8 books?
There's 7, I believe.
7?
There was 8 movies that they broke
the
to us. I hope so. I never know, man. But these days, I gave that. We were talking before the show started about The Last Frontier, and I thought that was going to make it to at least season 2, and that thing got axed. So
my thing with a lot of this stuff is it kind of goes back to like the Stranger Thing stuff. Like you go 10 years, if they have any more than a year between each, it's going to get tight like it did with the movies.
Yeah.
Towards the end, and I kind of worry about that when you cast kids.
Yeah.
And they're say they're 12. You run into the Stranger Thing team where they're 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
And then the money's always an issue too.
Yeah, I think they can do it. Depending on, because it depends on how well the show is run. I'm more concerned about the volatility at Warner Brothers. It is a mainstay IP, so I do think it's something that they want to capitalize on. And even when their Fantastic Beasts movies weren't working out, they tried to pivot back closer towards it with bringing us a young Dumbledore in there. But it kind of got lost in its own creation. So I think it's got a chance, but you do bring up a good point. It just depends on how well that show is run, what kind of gaps you're looking at in between. But I think they've been working pretty steady on those scripts. So just depends on their shooting schedules and things of that nature. But my bigger concern with the show making it through all the way is just the volatility with Warner Brothers right now.
Yeah, which is, something that we'll have to dig into a little bit more. But
Yeah,
at the rate that Netflix cancels stuff,
exactly.
I don't have
100%.
any hope for anything.
100%.
Like I don't want to I don't want to get invested in anything.
Yeah, no, 100%. I get it.
All right, well, let's move it on to James. James, what is your number one most anticipated of 2026?
Something that I know that they won't cancel because it's just a cash cow, and that's a Knight of Seven Kingdoms. Takes place about 90 years before Game of Thrones, and you follow a character who's mentioned periodically throughout Game of Thrones, Sir Duncan the Tall, and his squire Egg, as they travel kind of across Westeros in his goal to become a knight. Looks really cool. I liked House of the Dragon, so I'm gonna give this one a shot. It looks like it's a little bit on the lighter side, a little bit more of the comedic side, and I'm really looking forward to it. Based off some of the humor that's been in the trailer, it definitely looks like something that I'm gonna be interested in, and it comes out pretty soon too. I think like next week, so I'm really looking forward to it.
That's soon.
How concerned are you with the actual plot or the books and the storyline? Because obviously Game of Thrones was controversial because George just took a 15 to 20 year break on that hiatus.
This is already been written and done though.
Well, there's only been two, I believe.
Yeah.
So my thing though is, so you had Game of Thrones where production went past his pace.
Right.
Then you have what's the other one? House of the Dragon, which he started off as a partner, and apparently I don't know what the relationship is with him and the showrunner, but they were close in the beginning, season 1, and then
they're not now.
They're not now, and he said, "Stop sending me notes," basically. So he got cut out of that.
They changed a bunch of stuff.
So just given the history behind his products, does that concern you at all?
So I did see an interview on something that I was watching on the HBO, and it showed him like on the set, and he was like praising it, for how the character looks. That's a person that he would pick, and that it stayed true to what's there. I didn't read the book. I don't know. I really didn't take this as probably only getting maybe 1 or 2 seasons. And like I said, with the volatility, if it's not like a cornerstone, the way that Netflix does stuff, I'm not overly investing.
Oh, gotcha.
Like heavily into anything. It's my number one because I liked Game of Thrones. I didn't like the way it ended, but overall I liked it. I liked House of Dragon, even though they changed a bunch of stuff. But I also didn't read those 12,000 page books either. So it's not like I'm not losing sleep. Game of Thrones, I lost sleep because we invested a lot of time, and for it to just end so poorly, fine. But I know House of Dragon's not probably going more than 3 seasons, and I know this is probably not going to make it past 1. So like on the surface,
gotcha.
I'm just taking a lot of things now as just what it is, because even though this show doesn't seem like it has a lot of action, the budget's probably exploded. So they're probably going to look at it and be like, yeah, $2 million a week. No, it's not worth it. And like, that's just kind of the era that we're in. It's very few shows with large budgets do these companies feel like are worth it. So we get one-offs. So it's tough to get invested in anything that costs money.
Yeah.
Okay. So, excuse me. My number one most anticipated TV show of 2026, I am a very big kaiju fan. And there's this TV show called Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, Season 2, that's getting ready to come out in February. Now, the reason I'm so excited about this is we're not going to get a traditional Godzilla X Kong this year in 2026. That's going to be coming in 2027. So in the meantime, they are appeasing us fans of these awesome kaiju by giving us the TV series. And it looks like we're going to be able to see Kong, Godzilla, and some of the other kaiju that they're going to be fighting, villainous kaiju, in the TV show. Now, I enjoyed the show for what it is. It's not really fully based on the kaiju. It's more focused on the human element, the monarch element of the franchise and of the world building within the series. So once you understand what it is, you can thoroughly enjoy it based on that. The only dilemma that I'm going to have is, can I be patient enough to let it build up enough episodes so that I can sit down and watch maybe 3 or 4 before I am put in a position to have to wait week to week for the rest of the episodes to come out? Because I so thoroughly want to enjoy this fully from beginning to end. So Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 is my most anticipated TV show of 2026.
I'll warn you, Tarrus, if you do not watch this as soon as it premieres, I will spoil it for you. 100%. Because I watch it week to week, and I'll talk about it every episode.
That's going to be problematic. That's going to be very, very problematic, let me tell you.
Low key, how about a small golf clap for Apple TV for putting out good stuff?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, you got to give them credit, man.
They're killing it.
Give them credit.
They're killing it now. The season 1 was amazing.
A lot of good stuff, and it's just like it's almost hard to keep up with at this point. So I really applaud them.
Yeah,
and the
very,
price
very
isn't
true.
terrible either
Hey.
for the quality.
I applaud them, and
very good.
I applaud them until they canceled my Last Frontier.
I can't be mad at them all. But
They
got
canceled The
their-
Last Frontier? They only got one season?
Only got one season.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even watched that yet. I've been waiting to watch it.
Well, hey, take your time because there ain't going to be no more.
Wow, man, I'm disappointed with that. Well, it is the kind of series that would seem like it's kind of a limited series if they wrapped it up.
I
at the
will
end of the
say,
season.
to be fair, it's a victim of its own success in this aspect of
For sure.
the beginning is just so in your face and just so cutting edge that when you get to the later ones, when it carries a traditional plot line, it kind of subverted your expectations in some ways.
Gotcha. Okay.
It did start out.
Oh my god, that's the
Like it
best.
was shot
That's
out
the
of a
best.
rocket.
That's the best first couple episodes I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really good. I
So
enjoyed it.
It was very cinematic then, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, you'll like it in the theater a
man.
lot.
Ooh, you're hyping me up. You're hyping me up. I'm gonna watch it.
Those plane scenes in the beginning.
Oh yeah,
will
yeah.
Just
The sound is awesome.
the tweeters and the woofers will be.
I'm
zimming
sold,
and
James.
jamming and
Oh,
jingling and jamming.
I'm
You'll be-
sold.
Jingling and jamming.
You'll be out there.
Oh my gosh, I'm in heaven. Ecstasy.
There you go.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move it on to our top 3 favorite movies of 2025. Let's start with James. James, what is your number 3 top favorite movie, of 2025?
Mine was the live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Good choice.
I really, really enjoyed it. Unlike a lot of the live actions, I feel like it stayed pretty true to the original that came out in 2010. A lot of these live action remakes, they change things, whether it's to bring it up to the times or maybe there was something that was a little subjectable. But I thought that they did a really good job keeping this one true to the original. And I really did enjoy it. And it was probably the first live action that I watched with my daughter where I didn't like roll my eyes because something was hellaciously different from what I remembered. She really enjoyed it. Then we went back and we watched the original and she was like, it's almost the same, because when you watch The Lion King or Aladdin, there's just enough where it makes you turn your head like, wait a minute, is that the same as it was before? And I really appreciated that DreamWorks did a really good job keeping this the same. So that was my number 3.
All right, and the audio on this one was done really, really well, man. I was really impressed.
Absolutely.
This one was in my top 5, actually. I didn't put it within the top 3, but based on the audio design and also graphically, the
sharp.
CGI was just freaking amazing, man. And the image was fantastic.
The cast.
The cast, man. I mean, dude, I didn't think the character, looking at the trailer, the actor that was playing Hiccup, I was having a hard time embracing him because I was so used to what's his name?
Jay Baruchel.
Jay Baruchel. I was just so used to his interpretation of Hiccup.
Yeah.
But man, he did a really, really good job. And even the young lady that played the sidekick, his love interest.
Asher, is that her name?
Astrid, yeah.
Astrid, yes. Yeah. She was really good too, man. And just an all-around
That's Thandie
awesome.
Newton's daughter.
Yeah, it is. It is.
She did a great job.
So, Anthony, let's go ahead and move it on to you, bud. What is your number 3 top
So my
favorite
number 3 was
movie?
F1. I loved the cast. Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt. I just liked their relationship and how they played off each other. But this, really, the one who stole the show in this one for me is, without a doubt, Damson Idris. This is the first thing I'd ever seen Damson in. And from the minute he comes on screen, he kills it. He really does. He's got that cocky young guy air to him. But it's funny because I can't describe it. There's some people who can deliver cocky dialogue, but there's a charm to it, if that makes any sense. And then there's other people who, if they deliver the same lines, they just come off as unlikable. So even though his character has a way to go and he's just likable, it's just, I can't describe it. It's the same thing as when you see like Tom Cruise in the original Top Gun. That's the only way I can equate what Damson did with this character. And after seeing him in this, I totally get why everybody talks about him as a favorite to be, if they ever recast T'Challa in Black Panther, because he could totally kill that role. But the cast was amazing. Some of the camera angles and stuff like that, just amazing. I mean, I'm new to F1, but it's just amazing some of the shots that Joseph Kosinski got in this. And he was, shout out to him, because he's the guy that directed Tron Legacy, and he did Top Gun Maverick. And this was just a beautiful movie, had a great story too. It wasn't a typical like racing movie story, which kind of caught me off guard, and I kind of had to get used to it, but I liked it. I love the fact that they had so many cameos from actual F1 drivers in there. And it was just a great movie for me.
Fantastic. Okay, so my number 3 most anticipated of 2026 is, and I just talked about this a little bit ago, something in this franchise, in this world. And I am very excited to be able to enjoy something else within it, because like I said, it's not really been, I don't think the franchise has been treated properly. And it seems like with everything that's been going on lately over at Lucasfilm, with Kathleen Kennedy apparently stepping down, and Dave Filoni, and I can't recall the other gentleman who's going to be taking over Lucasfilm Studios from Kathleen Kennedy, along with David Filoni. But Dave Filoni he's done some pretty good stuff within the Star Wars franchise. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he is going to do with the studio. But the movie that I'm referring to is none other than The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro?
We're in 2025.
We're in 2025, man.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Look.
Hey, McFly, you're not in your DeLorean here. You can't go to the future, okay?
My bad, guys. Well, you know what my number 3 most anticipated? You guys should have stopped me when you heard me say most anticipated.
I didn't. I was looking to see
sure if you did or not.
Well, here's the problem was I was so focused on the footage. I was like, that looks like it's the Mandalorian, but it can't be. And I was trying to figure out what you're talking about, because you're talking about Kathleen Kennedy Turner, and I'm like, okay, so what Star Wars came out this year? I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Let me pull up my number 3 here.
This is what happens when you mush what normally is 2 separate episodes into one. Our wrap up and our most anticipated is that you lose track.
Big time. Big time. And I'm doing all of the production behind the scenes, so I'm having a hard time. I need you guys to keep me straight.
I can do this.
With everything that's going on.
You want me to do a little more of this?
Just, you can just speak. It's okay.
It's
okay. The audience understands that we have a lot going on.
No, it's fine.
Trying
We
to
are
produce.
not industry professionals.
Yeah, we're not. And
Oh, they know that by now. If it hasn't been clear,
If you listen
we
more
drove it
than
home on
one
this
time,
anniversary
you know.
issue.
All right, let me see what I'm at here.
Yeah, but I am really, really worried about Warner Brothers going to Netflix. Really.
I mean, hey, it's better than the alternative. That's all I'll say
It is.
about that one.
It is, for sure, but I am nervous.
And they're going to keep 45-day windows, possibly. So that's somewhat good news.
All right, so I got it, guys. Here we go. My number 3 top movie, of 2026 is kind of an unknown movie that came out of nowhere and ended up being really, really fantastic. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It's kind of a smaller budgeted film. It's got Anthony Ramos in it, and Naomi Scott is in it as well. She played Jasmine in the Aladdin movie with Will Smith back in the day.
She was a Pink Ranger,
But
too.
the movie is called Long Distance, and it went straight to streaming. It's on Hulu, and the special effects on it are done really, really well. Very well for what the budget of this movie was. It punches above its weight, in my opinion. Now, it's not, like I said, a AAA, grade A, high budgeted, movie, but for what it is, pretty darn awesome. I was quite surprised when I watched it. I actually watched it twice. I saw it in my theater 2 times. The first time, I just kind of wanted something sci-fi oriented, kind of a creature feature in a way. And, just put it on, and sure enough, within the first 10 minutes, I was very interested and hooked in what the premise of this movie was and where it was going. And I'm glad I stuck with it, because it does reward you if you do. Because, like I said, the creatures that are in it, the way the special effects are done, the CGI is done pretty well. The audio design is really good. The visuals are actually pretty darn good too. So if you're looking for something if you're a theater guy like me, and you're looking for something to have a good time in your theater with, Long Distance is a movie that will do that for you. Good acting, good story, good CGI. Very good story. Very good movie. So that is my number 3 top favorite of 2020 movie of 2025. Let's move it on to James. James, what is your number 2 top favorite of 2025?
My number 2 was Superman. I really enjoyed it. I thought, like when we discussed back when it came out, that it was the refresh that we kind of needed for superhero movies. It was, period specific, I guess, for what we have going on now in the world. Had good CGI. It made you laugh. I thought the casting was really well, even though that's not something that I overly care about. But I didn't think anybody ruined the show. If anything, I feel like we got some new characters to be excited about. I liked how it wasn't just him and Lois, that they added other characters in the DC universe, and it was a little bit more farther along in the story than an origin story. And I thought it deserved to be on my list, even though the costume sucks. Anthony, what about you? What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is also a little-known movie. It's called Fantastic Four. So it's from a small studio known as Marvel. And once again, I was proven wrong. I initially said that I couldn't see Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, but he killed it. I thought he was Reed Richards for me, which is probably why I don't do this for a living. The storyline was good, had a lot of good family moments, which is what the Fantastic Four should have. The cast, they all did a great job. Even Johnny, the way they made Johnny less abrasive, but he still felt like Johnny, was awesome. The only thing I would say is I didn't like the fact that they didn't make Ben's voice just a little bit different when he became a rock creature. I find it hard to believe that he's got all that rock in there. He's totally different. He's totally changed and altered, but his voice exactly the same as when he wasn't. So I love seeing Galactus on screen. I think they did a great job with Galactus, unlike the poop cloud that they gave us in Rise of the Silver Surfer. I would have preferred Norrin Rad as Silver Surfer in here, but I will say I understand how Shia LaBeouf's Silver Surfer kind of served the story a little bit more in this instance. So overall, it was a good movie.
Right. So my number 2 top favorite of 2025, movie of 2025, was, once again, like I said, I'm doing something different than what the fellas have done traditionally. This is a movie that you can actually watch on Netflix. And once again, it is another foreign film. It's a Japanese film, and it's an action film. And if you like John Wick, you like that type of action, then this will be a movie that you will thoroughly enjoy. And the name of the movie is called The Fable. The Fable is actually based on an anime, and it's, once again, it's one of those live adaptations that's done really, really well. Action is really good. Story's very comedic, but the characters are really funny. You can follow everything that's going on. The action is over the top, but it's still grounded for the most part. So if you're looking for something that is action-packed, a lot of gun fu, but at the same time kind of has a grounded feel to it, you will thoroughly enjoy it. Now, the premise of what this movie is about is the guy is an amazing assassin. He's actually he's called the Fable for a reason, legendary. And his boss tells him he's got to stop killing. He's got to take a break from killing for a while. And if he goes out and he kills, then the boss is going to kill him. So he goes to this quiet town to live a peaceful life, and shenanigans happen in this town that he's in as he's trying to lay low and just be. But really, really awesome show. Once again, it's on Netflix. There are 2 that are on Netflix, and the second one actually is another one that was just as good as the first. It was a phenomenal sequel. Typically, a lot of sequels kind of aren't as good as the original, but this one is just as good as the first one, if not better, actually. And the cool thing about them is they're only about an hour and a half long. So you're not really spending a whole lot of time. They're about maybe an hour 30, hour 40 for the most part. But the stories are so fun. The action is so good. And the characters are so interesting. I think that if you like action movies, then you need to put this one on your list. Now, this isn't one that is going to be crazy audio or anything of that nature there, because it's once again, it's a foreign film. They don't really, it's an older film. I think the original one came out in 2019, and the second one came out in 2021 or 2022, a couple of years after. But it's got a 5.1 mix, right? But if you have a good audio processor, a good audio receiver, then your receiver can upmix this to Dolby Atmos, to where you're getting some objects going through your Atmos heights and whatnot. But it is not a dynamic mix like that. But the bass is actually really, really good in both movies. The bass actually will move you. So if you want some good action, you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but you don't necessarily have to feel as if you're watching a budgeted movie, then The Fable is the movie for you to watch.
Also, it was a manga before it was an anime.
It actually was. Oh, yeah, no kidding. Absolutely right.
All right.
The anime you can watch on Hulu, but the live action adaptation movies are actually on Netflix. I've not watched the animated series, and actually, after watching the movies, now I'm really interested to go back and watch the anime because I enjoy the movies that much. But that was my number 2 top favorite movie of 2025. Let's move it on to our number 1 Our number one, let's go to Anthony. Anthony, what is your number one top favorite movie of 2025?
So this will probably be a shock to everybody, but it was actually Superman. Again,
What?
I know, right?
No.
I won't go into too much detail since James kind of hit some of the highlights on it, when he talked about it for his number two. But again, this completes my wrongness trifecta because I was totally against James Gunn, but I give credit, again, as Jason always says when he's on the show, he reserves the right to change his mind. James Gunn changed my mind, knocked it out of the park. The cast was awesome. I would have loved to see a little bit more of Clark Kent with the Daily Planet and the Daily Planet crew. But altogether, I can't complain about the storyline as a whole. I loved Crypto, obviously seeing him in live action. Hate the suit, just like James said. Please change that suit for the next one. And I do not like the storyline of Jor-El and Lara telling Kal-El to conquer these people if they don't fall in line. Just not a fan of that. Even the casting, I was against the casting of Ma and Pa Kent, but I thought they were kind of charming in their own way. They brought something different, something fresh to that dynamic, and I enjoyed it. So, and the architect. Wasn't a fan of the architect that much. She was okay at the end scene, but her movements are just really weird. I don't get it. But overall, it was a good movie. My number one for 2025.
Right. Let's go to James. James, what is your number one movie of 2025?
Well, I knew that like Anthony and I were going to have some similar picks throughout, but I think we've done a pretty good job keeping them separate. So my number one is Sinners. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I know it kind of, like, when you watch the trailers, looked like it was going to be something different, but the surprise and the twist after watching the original trailers didn't really sway me to change my opinion on the movie. I think it's a good horror drama. You got twin brothers played by Michael B. Jordan. And I liked the supernatural forces in the movies that threaten their community. I liked the music. The music was fantastic, as they're trying to open the juke joint. I really enjoyed Miles Canton, who played Sammy, and Delroy Lindo, who plays Delta Slim. Delroy has been in some of my favorite movies throughout my life. I always think of him from Clockers. Clockers was a movie when it came out in the early 90s about dealing drugs that I probably shouldn't have watched at that age, but it's one of my favorite movies that he's in. Thought all the cast was great. I thought the CGI was great. It just all around had a really good feel, and I really, really, really enjoyed the ending. I know some people may have not liked it, but I thought that it was really, really great, and I thought it was a really well done movie. And that's my number one.
Right. I really enjoyed that movie too, James.
I did up
all the
until
way
the
through.
ending. I didn't like the ending.
I thought the ending actually was appropriate for
Michael B. Jordan, though, he killed it, man. That dude should get something for that because he was phenomenal playing twins. But
absolutely,
I liked the cast, liked the storyline, liked everything that James liked. I just hated that ending, man.
The only thing that really kind of threw me off was the music scene in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
That actually kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't like
everything
that.
else.
I get the
thoroughly
symbolism and the.
I do too.
We get it, but
I like
misplaced.
I really was engulfed in the period piece portion of it, and the music kind of took me out of how well he was telling the story of this period in time, and that's one of the reasons why I like that ending so much as well, Anthony, because that was a strong part of life.
Correct.
For people in the South at that time. You know what I mean? So, but to each their own. To each their own. My number one, and I actually am sharing credit with two movies here because they both came out this year and they both were fantastic movies. Come on now. Anybody want to take a guess before it comes up?
Outriders.
It's Outriders.
Predator. Come on, man.
Predator, Killer of Killers was a fantastic movie. Animated movie. I got to give Dan Trachtenberg his flowers because he gave everybody something to look forward to in the Predator franchise. If you wanted something a little more traditional when it comes to a Predator movie, you had Prey, where he was actually stalking, some of the strongest people on the planet during that period of time that the Predator was on Earth in the first movie. The second movie, it's basically an anthology of different eras, different types of predators, stalking some of the strongest warriors of their time on the planet Earth. And then the ending of Killer of Killers is what sealed the deal on this becoming a fantastic franchise with the lore and the world building that Dan Trachtenberg was establishing with this movie. Absolutely love it, and was based on this, was hype about what he was planning to do with Predator Badlands. Now, a lot of people weren't fans of Predator Badlands because they kind of felt that Badlands should have been more of a traditional Predator movie, and it wasn't. It was more of an action movie. It was more of a thriller. It was more of a kind of coming of age story, and even kind of a family story. It was expanding upon the lore of the Yautja themselves, of the Predator themselves, as well as the world that they come from. And that is why I love this movie so much. The first two Predator movies gave you the traditional Predator story that those who wanted that, you had that. But in order for any franchise to live on beyond what it may currently be, they need to give more to the world building, to the lore, and create some characters that people can become engaged and involved with. And I think that's what he did with Predator Badlands, because Deck is an awesome character to follow. And now that he has his clan, it's going to be really interesting to see some of the other stories that are going to be told just in this iteration of Predator. So for that reason, I am a very, very big fan of what this Predator franchise has become and what the potential of it is and will be. So that is my number one top favorite movie of top favorite movies franchise, I should say, of 2025. All right, guys, we are coming to a close. We're going to do our last segment of the show, and that's going to be our most anticipated movies of 2026. Let's go ahead and break it down. Let's start with James. James, what is your number 3 most anticipated movie of 2026, my friend?
My number 3 is Spider-Man: Brand New Day. The reason I chose it was for my number 3. Basically, Peter got ousted in the last one, and I'm interested to see how they're gonna pick it up and how he's gonna balance everything now that Tony Stark's not in the picture. As far as we know, who knows with the multiverse, but really looking forward to it. I've liked all the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I'm wondering if they're gonna do more multiverse stuff with the other Spider-Mans, and include those in them in this one. Wouldn't be surprised if they did or they didn't. But Spider-Man: Brand New Day is one I'm looking forward to. Anthony, what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is The Odyssey, actually, by Christopher Nolan. It's got a sick cast. It's got Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, John Bernthal, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, and John Leguizamo. So I really loved Troy, which adapted, I should say, the Iliad. So this would be somewhat of a follow-up in some ways, even though it's different creator, different cast and everything. My only concern with this is Christopher Nolan likes to take the fantastical and ground it. And I really don't think you should do that with mythology. Again, you can see that throughout his Dark Knight series. He kind of, I hate to say it, but he dumbed down the series from the fantastical to the average. And I think, when I think of mythology, for me as a kid and growing up, that was my first superheroes, or some of the first superheroes that I got used to knowing and knowing what they were. But I will say, on the positive side, if you watch the trailer, you do see a hint at Polyphemus, which I think is coming up right here. And there's no way to do Polyphemus grounded, so I'm hoping that he just totally embraces the Odyssey for what it is, because it's a strength and somewhat of a morality tale, if you want to call it that. But that's my number 3 most anticipated.
All right. Well, you guys already got a preview of what my most anticipated of 2026 is.
Andor?
It should be. It really should be. But it is
Here in this one, the
Mandalorian
Golden
and
Girls
Grogu.
meet. What was it?
And the reason
Thank you for
it is
being a friend.
and the reason it is my number 3 most anticipated is because, like I said, Dave Filoni and the person that's going to be taking over from Kathleen Kennedy, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the Star Wars franchise. And I've always been a fan of the Mandalorian TV show because they always do that so well. All of the stories have been fantastic. Some of the seasons have been better than others, I will say that. But for the most part, it's been pretty consistent with the quality of what you get with the show. And even more important, man, that opening theme, well, the opening and the closing theme, the music in the show is just, I tell you, you really want to move your leg every time the music comes on because it is just that good. I don't know who the composer was or who was in charge of the music for the show, but they have done a fantastic job with it. And all of those elements combined is what I'm hoping is going to make this a fantastic movie. The fact that they have a stepped up budget, they can do a lot more creative things than they could actually do with the TV show. That's what's going to make this, I think, a really, really fun watch. I will say the only thing that I'm concerned about, and it's not really a concern because it's something that Star Wars normally does, and even Grogu is one of these characters, the Jim Henson kind of puppet characters. That actually, it looks a little over the top for me, but it's not out of place for what you typically would see with a Star Wars show and with Star Wars properties from time to time.
This movie looks like a Star Wars movie story for adults.
You think so?
Yeah. Much more than Andor. That's kiddie. That's kiddie.
Oh, come on. Come on, man.
You know what's wild when Grogu was riding like real fast in that speeder part in the trailer. The first song that came to my mind was California Love. I don't know why, but I just when he sped by the screen, I just heard California Love by Tupac in my head. I was like, damn. I was like, that. Hopefully they play that in Star Wars, and that's what they choose for that part of the movie for the music.
That would be kind of cool. But I'm telling you, man, listen, the theme song, it thumps just like it's a hip hop jam, man. I mean, it's just that, that good.
It's a good theme song. I don't know if I would say it thumps.
I'm telling you, man, when it comes on, it almost seems like it's going to take you someplace, but then it gets more, how should I say, orchestral, a little further in, but it's just an awesome theme. It really is. One of the better TV theme shows I think I've heard in recent years, I will say.
I don't want to butcher the guy's name, but it's Ludwig Göransson.
Okay.
He's also known for his Oscar-winning work on the Black Panther and his collaborations with Childish Gambino. So
that would make sense.
Fortunately, Anthony, it does thump, brother.
There you go. Hey,
come on now. Just because he worked with Childish Gambino doesn't mean this thumps.
Listen, hey,
I like the theme. I just wouldn't say it thumps.
It does thump a little bit. I have to see.
Stop it.
You might be lacking a little bit of rhythm, bro, and a little bit of motion.
I'm sure that is actually accurate.
So maybe that's why it doesn't hit for you.
I like the song. I just don't say it thumps.
But it does. It does. Then it gets orchestral right in the middle of it. But
orchestral thumping.
How often do I agree with Tarrus? He's right on that one. He's right on.
Well, I hope you guys enjoy Andor together.
His ears to the street. Don't push it, Tarrus.
All right, let's go to Anthony's number 2.
Okay, so this is my number 2. It's actually a tie between Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day. The reason I linked this together, normally you would think an Avengers level movie would be a clear number one. However, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not overly thrilled with some of the cast that's in here. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm getting a little tired of this multiverse thing. I thought we were going to put that away soon. And I definitely don't like RDJ as Doom. Maybe he'll prove me wrong once I see it. But if he ends up being what everybody knows he's going to be, which is a Tony Stark variant, it's just going to bother me so much. And especially if they try to insinuate that he's the son of Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter that gets messed up because of the convergence or whatever. I'm definitely going to hate all that. So, not a fan of Letitia Wright. It's not all her fault, because there was a vacuum left by Chadwick Boseman. He's just killed it. But hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised. But I will say I'm a little bit more excited and the idea of the plot line with the kids being the one connection between all the storyline teasers, I'm not a fan of that. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I'm a little bit more. I did like seeing James Marsden in the Cyclops suit, though, finally. But I'm a little bit more excited for this movie. And I hate to disappoint James, but I don't think what he's looking for is going to happen yet. I know that eventually we'll see Miles Morales make his appearance, but I don't think this will be the one, because I think this is going to be returned to a street-level, grounded Spider-Man, which I'm kind of okay with, because I feel like he's been basically an Iron Man sidekick, and he's been overshadowed by different characters, so it's nice to see him. And I think pairing him with John Bernthal and the Punisher was going to be epic. I just like the idea. They're going to be together in The Odyssey and Brand New Day, which I think is awesome. I'm excited to see some new characters like Tombstone and the guy that they got from Black Lightning. I can't remember his name, the actor's name, but he's perfect for the role. And there's some hints that maybe Scorpion and Rhino might be in there as well. One thing I'm not excited about is the rumor of Grey Hulk, Mr. Fix-It. Please, Marvel, please do not bring me Mr. Fix-It. You've messed with the Hulk enough. Please just, if you're going to have the Hulk in there, please make it a little closer to what everybody's wanted since Edward Norton's Hulk. Please. That's all I'm asking for. But that's my number 2.
All right.
Those are my number 2s, I should say.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move it on to James. James, what is your number 2 most anticipated movie of 2026, my friend?
My number 2 is Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. This is going to be a prequel that's set before Katniss that focuses on Haymitch, who is Woody Harrelson in the Hunger Games movies. In the 50th Hunger Games. So the only thing I liked the Hunger Game movies. I thought it was a cool premise. It kind of ties into a lot of the video games that I play, extraction shooters or just battle royales in general. The only thing I really want for this, because I know the action's going to be okay, is that the guy who's playing Haymitch, Joseph Zada, I think his name is, does a good job portraying him. Like, obviously, I know going through something like the Hunger Games is traumatic and it can change a person. But I hope that we're able to have a sense of what he was like before, and then they kind of show his evolution to who he was in the Hunger Games. And I think as long as that's tight and there's not like a lot of plot holes, or you don't feel at certain times that, well, that's not really probably how like Woody Harrelson's portrayal of him as an adult would have acted, then I think it'll stand and be okay and in line with the rest of the Hunger Games series.
Okay. All right. Well, my number 2, most anticipated of 2026, since I'm not going to get the legendary version of these characters, I got to say, I'll take whatever they can give me. And it seems as if Toho is going to be giving us a new Godzilla film coming at the end of the year. And this one is going to be called Godzilla Minus Zero. And it's going to be coming out in November, I think early November sometime. And it's going to be a subtitled movie because it's going to be made in Japan. It's going to have Japanese characters. But I enjoyed Godzilla Minus One so much, that is not a problem for me. And I don't have a problem reading subtitles, guys. I mean, that's just something that's not much of an issue for me. And I'm pretty sure that the movie is going to be a kind of an amazing audio designed movie because Godzilla Minus One was. So if it's anything like, if Godzilla Minus Zero is anything like Godzilla Minus One, then it's going to be a really, really exciting watch. The only problem is I don't know if I'll go to the theater to watch it, which means I'll have to wait for it to either come to Blu-ray, because that more than likely will be in 2027 since the movie's coming out November of 2026. Typically it takes about 2 to 3 months, 3 months usually, sometimes a little bit longer for them to come out with the Blu-ray versions of movies. And that's actually what happened with Godzilla Minus One. It came out in the movies, and then about, say, 3 or so months later, then you got a Blu-ray. It came out in December, I think, here in the States, in select theaters. And then months later, you got the Blu-ray the following year. But either way, it's coming out in 2026. I'm excited about it. If there's a lot of hype around how good it is, I may just go to the theater to see it. So we'll see. And that is Godzilla Minus Zero as my number 2 most anticipated movie of 2026. All right, so we're going to move it on to our number 1s. And with our number 1, we are going to go to James. James, what is your number 1 most anticipated movie of 2026, my friend?
So I bent the rules just like Anthony. My number 1 is Dune Messiah and Avengers Doomsday. And the only reason that both of them are number 1 is because as last I checked, they come out on the same day. And I'm here for that. I am here for a classic showdown between 2 juggernauts. I'm not going to really go into Avengers too much because Anthony already covered most of it. And I agree with most of it. As far as Dune goes, I really, really have enjoyed the movies. I never read the books. I never watched the old ones. So I have no vested interest in it. Other than my man, Timothy. I like him. He's a good actor. Anthony thinks I have a crush on him. He might be right, but he might be wrong too. Because I'm pretty sure we were discussing, he did show up on my list. I couldn't find it for actors I wanted to play characters. It might have been Batman.
I think it was Batman.
I think it was Batman. I wanted him to be Batman. He's way too short. He'd have to wear like platform shoes.
Michael Keaton did it.
Yeah, he wore platform Jordans. So
Yep.
He'd be all right. But I'm looking forward to both of those. I really hope neither of them blinks and moves it off the same day. I really think it would be fun, like just fun banter.
Which one are you going to see both?
Then? You know I don't go to the movies much.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one to see in the theater, God, that's tough. Dune. Dune. I would pick Dune.
Buckle up, buddy. Buckle up. That's all I got to tell you.
On the same day.
You don't know what's coming.
Those are my number 1s.
You don't know what's coming. Okay.
Unfortunately, we didn't have any B-roll for Dune Messiah. Cool. And we've talked quite a bit about Avengers Doomsday. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on that, James. Unfortunately, like I said, we didn't have any B-roll for you. But let's move it on to Anthony's number 1 most anticipated of 2026. Anthony, what is that, my friend?
Surprising to many, probably, is Masters of the Universe. The little kid in me that loves the 80s cartoon version. I just been waiting for this for so long. But I will say it looks like it may be worth the wait. The cast looks pretty good from what the early sneak photos and test footage I've seen of it. Nicholas Gallett's scene, I believe is how you say his name, as Adam / He-Man. It's got some of my favorite people in there, including Camila Mendes as Tila, Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms, James Purefoy as King Randor, and Marina Baccarin as the Sorceress. Oh, and Alison Brie is going to be Evelyn. And even they threw a little Jared Leto in there as Skeletor, so you probably won't have to change his look that much because it kind of looks like Skeletor to begin with.
Sure won't. CGI is going to be cheap on that one.
I usually don't like when they take fantasy characters and bring them to the real world because I think it's kind of cheap like they did in the last Masters of the Universe. But when I read the concept behind this one, I thought it was actually kind of compelling and kind of interesting because basically Adam, something happens and Adam is actually brought to Earth as a young person, grows up a normal life, doesn't realize he's got these powers and he's special. And then Tila comes to the real world to bring him back to Eternia to kind of bring him back and have him meet his destiny, if you will. So I'm super psyched for it. I just think it's something, if you love the 80s cartoon, the look of that guy. I mean, if you see a picture of him, if you Google him and they show you a non-Masters of the Universe, you'll be like, that guy is not Prince Adam or He-Man, but he did an immense amount of work. He looks really good as both. And they did a clever little thing with... I don't know if they were leaked photos or they were released photos, but they did a clever little thing with his costume at the time to kind of do a little nod to Prince Adam from the cartoon. So you'd think that a comic book guy would probably picked either Spider-Man or Doomsday, but Marvel has just been a little rocky for me lately. So I'm hoping that this pays off. And that's my number one.
All right.
Side note, if I can, since that is your number one, I don't know if I have it. I may have a copy of it, but I have a picture of me in like 1993 with the He-Man sword doing the pose.
You gotta find it.
I promise you, I will make a concerted effort
Please.
to find that photo.
That would
and
be
share
awesome.
It. Just so we can all have a little chuckle.
I love it.
Well, I'm literally, when we get done, I'm gonna go look in the photos that I have. I know where they are, and if I don't, I'll get my mom to take a picture of it, and I will share.
Heck
that.
yeah, awesome.
So my number one, most anticipated of 2026, is The Odyssey. So The Odyssey was within Anthony's top 3 most anticipated of 2026.
Did he just check his paper to see my name? Pretty sure he looked down.
Yeah, what time?
He ain't got his readers on.
He ain't got his
like
readers
12:30.
He ain't got his readers on.
After
okay.
midnight, I forget names.
My bad.
So, you know.
Go ahead. You're good.
I'm surprised he ain't sleep.
Oh, for real. Look. But yeah, so The Odyssey is my number one most anticipated of 2026. And the reason for that is because we've not seen Christopher Nolan just do straight out fantasy. And I'm hoping that I'm confident that he's going to do a good job with it, because what it reminds me of, I don't know if you played a video game called Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade.
Yes, I played that.
Yeah, that's a fantastic game. The aesthetic of that game reminds me a lot of the cinematography that Christopher Nolan is establishing with his Odyssey movie. And some of the characters that we're seeing in here remind me a bit of some of the characters that were in that game. So for that reason, I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's going to be all about. I'm not looking forward to going to the theater with this. I do want to see this in my own home theater. So I'm not sure, unless the word on this is it is a must-see right away and you don't want it to be spoiled. Then I'll go to the theater, the commercial theater, to see it. But other than that, I'd really like to wait to watch this at home in my own space so that I can make sure that I'm getting a premium experience when I watch it.
Apparently it was shot entirely with IMAX cameras. So saying you should enjoy it in IMAX.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you don't have that yet. so you're gonna
Yet.
have to go to the theater. Yet. That's why I said yet.
He's knocking out his living room, so it's a two-story theater.
It doesn't matter. I have a video processor that can process any format of video that's placed.
No,
in
it's the
any
size
film.
though.
Yeah, but that screen's too
Size of
little
the
for
screen.
that's not an IMAX screen.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close to an IMAX screen, man. I guarantee you. I
No,
guarantee my video
sir.
processor is going to be able to do.
Come
There's been other
haven't seen
IMAX
no
content
IMAX.
that my video
That's
processor
small.
has been able to work out for me.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've heard you say since Andor is a great show.
Well, you've not been to my theater, my friend, so you don't exactly know what you're.
I've been to an
referring
IMAX
So-
screen.
Yeah, but you've not been to the Fun Waste of Time theater, my friend. Come on now. Don't
Unless
sell
you
us
knocked
short.
that living room out and dropped it down, I'm not buying it.
All right, guys. Well, we've been going for over 3 hours now, and I think this is a pretty good point to end the show. We had a fantastic time with you, and we hope that you did as well. This is our 7th year anniversary, so we're pretty excited to do the show for you. And we don't normally do shows that run 3 hours long, but because it was an anniversary show and we were doing our top favorites and our most anticipated, we decided to go ahead and take a little time and go through those things that we've enjoyed this past year and what we're looking forward to this upcoming year. But I want to thank you all for listening in. If you're watching us, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening, follow us. We'd love for you to continue to join into some of these conversations that we're actually having. But you all take care, and we'll see you soon. All right, bye-bye now.